if he was barefoot. Is that still the case? Is he barefoot? Because I know on Facebook somebody posted a picture of these could be his shoes, or is that so he is presumed to be barefoot at this point?
What I can say is that his mom says all of his shoes are accounted for at the house. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot.
All right.
Allegedly!
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. Here's a brief disclaimer for tonight's show. Let's watch.
That's ignorant! Allegedly, that's ignorant! Ignorant.
Judgment, Alistair.
Chloe, you read my thoughts. You've got the shinin.
You mean shining?
Shh! You wanna get sued?
Judgment, Alistair.
You just use that shin of yours to call me and I'll come a running. But don't be reading my mind between 4 and 5. That's Willie's time.
Hey, yo, boss. I love it when he does that.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. It's good to see all of you tonight. Happy Saturday. I know it's technically Sunday. Sorry I came up a little bit later today. I was just kind of reviewing Seth's live, which I thought was very wonderful. He did a great job. I was very uplifted by it, right? Lots of good questions were answered. I see C. Taylor, Jen, Summers Army. Good to see you guys at Show Poodle, Seashell, Bobby, I'm so sorry. I know I keep going on and tonight I'm like extra late. Hey, Connie S, good to see you. And I'm so sorry, guys. I'm going to get on a better schedule, but you know, the later I go, then I have to like pull it back. So hopefully by next week we can do that. And good to see Carolina, Hope Floats, Just Me, Prayer Warrior. Hey, Chaz D, good to see you here. And Brandy and Indy, Mally Cat. Hey, Mally Cat. So good to see all of you guys. You know, and tonight I just kind of wanted to come on and kind of, you know, echo some things that Seth had brought up, and then what we'll probably do is try to watch some clips from his live because it was really good, and I'll do that for Monday night. Monday Night Raw, we'll do that. But I think that tonight was really good in terms of finding out some new information. One thing that I was really happy, well, I mean, I'm happy to announce it because I got clarification. So of course I was hoping for an alternative result, obviously. Hey, Lady for Justice, good to see you, Tracy. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, see, Taylor, it really was. It was so sweet. He did such a good job. Tony was good. It was really good, I thought. And and everybody was showing so much love in there too, right? And so I think that is the main focus. But Seth did say that the sighting that really looked a lot like Sebastian, but a younger version in Missouri is not him. He does not believe that it is him, which it is. I know that's probably disappointing, but it's also good to kind of focus attention off of that and then move forward onto the next possibility. So really glad, and it's so nice to have a straight answer. And just I'm kind of a straightforward person, maybe a little bit too blunt sometimes. Hey, Baba Rose. And I know Connie S. I know. I was hoping so too. Um, and the new flyer too. I wanted to talk about the new flyer. It wouldn't let me upload. It would only let me upload like a couple or a little bit of it, and I don't know if it was like a glitch or something in StreamYard, but I posted the newest flyer to my community wall, and all of the pictures on there are very recent. They look like very, very recent photos, right? So, and we know that the one that I have up here, and it says missing, and it's Sebastian's face up there. That one was his school picture just from that school year, or the 2023-2024 school year. And so, hey, Napa Nudge Father, good to see you. And so, with that being said, I think that's a more recent one too. But then there was another one that I put in the thumbnail, and it looks like he's wearing kind of like a fleece coat. And that one looks, older as well. So I just always try to keep him in mind looking older, a year older. Hey, Adam Forever 21, Astrology for Mystics. Good to see all of you. Hey, Shadow. Thank you also so much for being here. So yeah, tonight Seth was very gracious, grateful, thankful, answered a lot of questions from the audience members, and then talked about the America's Most Wanted. So that will be showing sometime end of April, beginning of May is what they said. Hey, Holly S., good to see you. Tina Girl, good to see you, Tina Girl. So that'll be good. I think that'll be, and he kind of clarified a little bit that there was participation from Katie and Chris, so fantastic, right? And then he also participated, so it'll be an effort that the parents are both involved in, which is fantastic. And it was such a good live. It really was. He looked good. He did look good, Holly S. I agree. And just it's got to be so difficult to get up there and speak, especially when it's kind of you didn't anticipate ever having to do that, right? So he just did a really good job. Thanks, Holly S. And C. Taylor says, I was happy to hear they will look into having an age progression, some age progression pics done. Yeah, that was a great idea. And I can't remember who said it, but like the different color hair, right? Because if someone is trying to conceal his identity, then that could maybe help to recognize Sebastian looking a little bit different, right? Older or different hair color. So that was an interesting idea, and I never thought of that. So that's really, really great. And Tina says, I don't think they add Seth and KK and Edgar was interviewed together. No, I don't think so. I think the way that I understood it, how Seth explained it, was that, they were interviewed and he was interviewed. It's not going to be like it's my understanding that it wasn't going to be like a panel with all three parents. It was just kind of they're interviewed and he was interviewed. Hey, Seth, good to see you. And see, he could probably answer too better than I could as well. So, hey, Lori, good to see you, Lori. So it's one of those things where it is something that I think it's important to have everybody's point of view, right? Especially the parents, because that's who America's Most Wanted is going to want to talk to. They're going to want to talk to the parents and find out. Um, I'm just really happy too that John Walsh is taking the time. I think that's wonderful. And then I think Jay Koff is also might be interviewed, but she is FBI, former FBI. So I know that she has a lot to bring to the table in the discussion and things like that. Footage of him leaving the house, but it does. Oh, okay. So okay. So Napanoch Father says, so it seems like Chris put this stamp on the cop saying that there is no footage of him leaving the house, but does anybody know where the trash cans in the garage before they were taken out or already? Oh, gotcha. Okay. So I believe in any pictures that I see of the Proudfoot residence, it looks like they keep the trash cans up near the house, and then whenever it's time to take them, they go to the end of the driveway. And Katie did say that that was, one of her things that she said. She said that that was Sebastian's chore, and he takes the cans to the end of the driveway. I know that it was not until the Chronicles of Olivia interview where that was kind of brought into play. And I don't know if that was because there was camera footage that came out, or I'm not quite sure about that. But that was another thing that Seth did mention tonight, and a really important part. So thanks, Napanoch Father, for bringing that up too, is that, the LE doesn't believe that there's enough evidence to say that Sebastian ever left the home, right? So that was one kind of key factor on maybe what law enforcement is thinking in terms of, hey, Lil Redo, in terms of, what could be happening in their minds. Yes, Seth, I got you, Napanoch. That's why I didn't post it up there. Thank you. Yeah, no, I kind of, sometimes I'll try to read real quick and then see if I can, because I know it's hard. Sometimes in chat, like you'll just start saying something and it'll just send it. Have you guys ever had that happen? It's weird. Tracy says, very proud of everything you're doing, Seth. Aw, that's so sweet of you, Tracy. Thank you. And I do agree with that. It's really what should be happening, for Sebastian. So he needs advocacy. He needs someone out there, because it's just so important, that's what we're put here for, is to do that for our kids, I think. And Tina says, that's crazy, Seth. How long has it been since you've talked to Chris and Katie, if you don't mind me asking? Thanks, C. Taylor. C. Taylor says to Seth, wonderful live. Thank you, with green heart. Yeah, just wonderful energy. The energy was really good, because I'll tell you, when I watched Smiley this morning, she did I say this morning, but sometimes it's afternoon for me. But she highlighted a story where there was a little boy who had autism. His sister was also at home and had autism, but he ran up to the grocery store and he didn't have any clothes on, because he was escaping a situation where he was being confined and tied up. And it just really, I just lost it. I couldn't stop crying. I was like, oh my gosh. And it really got to me. So then going into something so positive, I was so thankful. And Brandy and Indy says, yet KP never said Sebastian took out the trash that Sunday. She just said that it was his chore, in my opinion. Yeah, Brandy, I mean, the way I kind of took it was, well, I thought the way that she said it was, Sebastian took the trash out. That's his chore, to take the can to the end of the driveway. So I thought she did specify that. but maybe I need to go back and watch it again. Because I thought she did. I just think it you know, and correct me if I'm wrong if you're still in here, Seth, but I was thinking she said that there was a video of it, but then you were saying it was very, very grainy. So it was very difficult to see it, to see who exactly was taking out the trash, right? But I would imagine because it was, Monday morning pickup for trash. So somebody took the can to the end of the driveway. Yeah, Jen, I think they're doing everything that they can. I really do. I think that they're doing everything that they can at this point. And that's another thing that Tony kind of gave us some clarification on too, again, which I know that he's done that before. So, and I remember him doing that. So, yeah, Connie, I agree. And I think that now they're putting, all of their manpower into searching and things like that. So I think, and Jen, I'm not afraid to, to call out some of that stuff as long as I can prove it. But I really do. I really believe that they're doing everything they can. I'm hoping. Hey Shanna, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Thanks, Brandy. Yeah, Connie, if you want, you could always go to my community tab and go to the link. Hey, Scranton, good to see you. Good to see you, Scranton. Thank you, Seth. Thank you so much. Hey, Reach for the Sky, good to see you. So, Lil Redo says, so if we know that LE says he never left the house alone on foot, then there is only one scenario. Well, and Lil Redo, I don't want to I don't want to disparage law enforcement because obviously I'm not law enforcement and I'm not trained as they are. You know what I mean? I've not served in the military. Some people that have that background or, have kind of a similar knowledge and things like that, but not me. But I will say that sometimes, I'll just say this, if there's no evidence of it, I think that's basically what my understanding. If there's no evidence of Sebastian leaving the house, then they're left to believe that he may have not left the house, right? And so at first we heard that they were operating under the assumption that he walked off. So it is different, right? They have the most information. They have more information than we do. But I don't know if that leaves only one scenario or if they're just saying that there is no evidence to prove that he left the house. And, please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I really do believe that. Tracy. Yeah, Prayer Warrior, thank you so much. I love hearing Tony talk about LE. His attitude has changed a lot in recent months, which gives me even more hope. Yeah, because we don't want to hear that they're not open and honest with the parents. You know what I mean? You want to hear that because it's okay that they don't give us information. We're just kind of nosy, right? We just want to know, and we want to help. But for the parents, because if it was me, I would want to know information. I would probably be bugging that, they would probably hate me, because I'd just be bugging them all the time. Got anything new, you know what I mean? Don't apologize, Seth. Don't apologize. It's just it's the love. It's the love. I think, more than anything. So, thanks, Napanoch Father. That's so sweet. You guys are such a good bunch. And Seth says, I couldn't make out who was taking the trash out, but we are assuming that it was Sebastian. I believe Katie said Sebastian took out the trash because it's one of his chores. Yeah, that was my understanding, Seth. So thank you so much for clarifying that, because that was kind of what I got from Katie's statement. He took it out because that's his chore. He takes the can to the end of the driveway. Thank you, Holly S. Thanks for the green hearts, guys. Aw, thanks, Connie. That's so sweet. You've been a member for a month. Goodness sakes. Gosh, time just flies by, doesn't it, guys? Hey, Forrest. Thank you, Lori. Thanks, guys. No evidence that he walked off alone, in my opinion. Yeah, Prayer Warrior, that's kind of how I'm taking it. That we just don't know. Aw. Thanks, Jen. She says, we have been crying every day for Sebastian for you. He was a very handsome young man who has his whole life ahead of him. Very smart young man. Exactly. And he is so handsome, just a cutie pie. You know what I mean? Best smile, too. Best smile. And Shanna says, Seth's been with you from day one and still doing everything I can. Good. Thank you so much. You guys are so sweet. I appreciate you. Aw, thanks, Snap and Noach Father. I'm just glad that he's here. I really am. I'm very thankful. Hey, Mammon. Good to see you. Yes, he is very handsome and smart. I know. I mean, you just have to be able to, play chess and be into like those very social games. There's a lot of memorization, a lot. And, yeah, and I do think he looks like his dad, especially there's the one picture where they're both smiling really, really big. There's two. There's one when he's little that they're doing that, and then there's one when he's older. And yeah, they're just spitting image. But I will say when I see pictures of Katie and Sebastian, I see Katie, so. And Tony says, Seth, I pray for Sebastian's safe return. You are very strong and responsible. And if it was me, we would have big problems. Respect. Yeah, I know. And that's what I'm saying. I would annoy them. I mean, so badly. They would just be like, we need that mom to chill out. And I do respect Seth for that too, because I think it takes a lot of strength and restraint and self-control, and sometimes it's hard to control ourselves and our emotions, especially, women. we're pretty like, it's tough for us, but yeah, an excellent job and much respect for me as well. And thank you, Tony. And Brenda says, we just want to know the case is moving forward. Glad Tony and Seth seem to have faith in Ellie. Absolutely. Thank you, Brenda. That's a great point. And I think that it's important to recognize good work too. So if we hear that from Tony and Seth, I think it's really important to, take that and give law enforcement that love too. Thank you for working on Sebastian's case. Thank you for making him a priority. We need to be thankful to them for that, because if they don't do right, then we can get them right. We will get them, guys, but if they're doing right, then absolutely all of my respect and love to law enforcement for doing that. Thank you, Holly S. so much. You are such a sweetheart. And C. Taylor says, if we watch trials from beginning to end, we start to understand that Ellie / prosecution holds back a very high percentage of info to protect investigations, prosecutions and justice. Absolutely, because if it's mishandled, C. Taylor, thank you for that comment. If it is mishandled, that's giving the defense, whoever it is, bargaining chips and leverage, right? It just does automatically, because so we have to really be careful, stay in the right. Thank you, Connie S. And just make sure that we do everything right. Yes, C. Taylor, thank you. We just have to. We have to. And I do entrust law enforcement to know exactly what that entails, right? Because they know what they're gonna need to do to make sure. Tracy, that's so sweet. Yeah, I know, Holly. I know, not like the Fox interview, right? I agree. I agree. Well, and it's just so that way we get the most recent picture, because again, Sebastian's going to look a little bit older by this point, right? It's a year. And people, as they grow up, they change a little bit, so it's important. But main facial features, like he's never going to lose that cute dimple. He's never going to lose the shape of his ears or different things. So there's certain things that we can really focus in on too. That's important, I think, just little things. You know Thank you, Mom, and she says sending all prayers and I love and love to Seth and his family always. So sweet, Mom, and thank you, hon. And Scranton says I love the ones of Seth and Sebastian together with big smiles. I know, me too. Just so cute. Two peas in a pod, Aw, yes he is, Lori. Yes he is. Little Red says Sebastian has my heart. He reminds me of my child who has Asperger's. Yes. Aw, Lori, that's so sweet. Or I mean, sorry, Little Reddo, that's so sweet. And Forrest says, good to have you right here tonight. We have been praying constantly. It takes a strong person to do what you do. Thanks, Forrest. Thank you so much. And I shared that song, Forrest, because that song was beautiful. Just a beautiful song. And then I found an anime cat and I put it on there. Well, I found two of them. The one was pretty cool. He had a mohawk. And Lil Redo says, this is why I want people to stop bashing Ellie, let them do their job. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, it's just, it's okay to say if somebody did something wrong, right? It's okay. We don't have to hate them for it. When they do something right, though, or it looks like things have shifted, which it seemed like that's kind of, we saw that shift when Seth came on in December. And it may have even been a little bit before that, but that's when, that's a good thing, right? If it's a positive shift, then we have to recognize it for a positive shift, in my opinion. I try to be a realist as well, but I do try to be positive as well. So it's kind of finding the balance. I think they are too, Holly. Yes, I think they know what happened and are trying to really hard to resolve it. And I agree with that 100%. If I thought differently, I would tell you guys. I really would. I would say, I have to respectfully disagree and all that jazz. And Diana says, how do we know there actually was a three-way call? Who has confirmed this? And if CP got the call at 6:15 and wasn't on maybe the crane or call. So, I mean, that's a great question, Diana. I, do think a lot about this too, because, I can't lie. I mean, and I brought it up a couple days ago. It bothers me that Seth, it bothers me that Chris would send a text message to Seth saying 911 when he went to tell Nina about Sebastian going missing. He he texted her 911, but then he didn't call 911. So the first thing that he thinks of, he told on himself, right? Because the first thing he thinks of when there's an emergency, and he can identify an emergency, is 911, and he's texting it, but he didn't call 911. That bothers me. Also, I don't know about the three-way call. Some people say that the three-way call happened. Some people are alleging that Katie was possibly not on the phone and he called her back. People are alleging that he may have just called 911. Katie and Chris both allege that they called 911. But then again, it's very hard to take everything they say as truth when many times we found contradictions, like the 911 thing in and of itself. And then CP got the call at 6:15, and that's another thing too. Katie says 3 minutes, it took her 3 minutes to look around the house. And then she said, and we know that she did get into her vehicle and drive around. The police are said to have contact with the police didn't happen until 6:33, allegedly. 30 minutes later. I mean, and how we say 1 sec and it's not really 1 sec, right? So I get that. Just playing devil's advocate, I understand. I could say I'll call you in a sec and I'll call you 10 minutes later. But so maybe in Katie's, recollection, she was like 3 minutes, you know what I mean? So, but still, I don't like any of it. It doesn't make sense, Diana. So thank you for your question. But that's the best way I can answer it. Yeah, yeah, that's true, Jen. If they don't do their job right, they all lose qualified immunity. There's a lot of things that can happen if it's not done correctly. And we just would hate for that to ever happen, because it needs to happen correctly so we can really get justice, get to the bottom of it. Hey, Sasha. And I know that we all want to, I know that we all want that at the end of the day. We all want the truth. I think even if it's something that we don't want to hear, because I not to I can't sugarcoat it. There's going to be things that when we find the truth out, it's going to be some stuff that we didn't want to hear, right? Or we didn't think, it might blow our minds. We might say, oh gosh, I didn't know that. Or we might say, hey, I was thinking that all along. You don't know. We don't know because we don't have the truth. That's what's very frustrating here, is that it's something that we're not getting the truth. And that's why we're all frustrated, because it is very frustrating, especially when things don't make sense, because then that's enough to drive you bonkers, right? You just keep on thinking about it, going down a rabbit hole. Sasha says, did you check out Evil Exists and Sebastian at the other home in Gallatin? No, I haven't saw that one yet, Sasha. I have not, hun. Oh, that's a good question, Tina. If there's identifying marks on Sebastian's face or hair, I tried to ask. I know that chat was flying. So if Seth's still in here, are there any identifying marks? And I'm probably way behind in chat, guys. You know how I am. I'll fish with Sebastian any day. I love his style. That's what I was saying, Prayer Warrior. I said the same thing. So that sounds like my idea of fishing. Get me a place where I could still have internet, because I need to have my phone. I need to have something there. I love listening to music. I know that kind of probably scares the fish away. But and I'll just sit there with a pole. Why not? That's funny. Well, we'll have to go fishing sometime, Prayer Warrior. Hey, Rogue. Good to see you, sweetie. Holly says, Seth sounds so much like his son. It's crazy. Hey, Cinderella. I don't want to know anything that would put Sebastian in danger. That's right, Cinderella. That's a good way to look at it too. Yeah, because we do have to consider that even though we're curious, even though, maybe we're nosy, we also just want to get to the bottom of things. But you're right. That's one thing to keep in mind, because I do believe also that law enforcement is being very strategic with their letting out. There's certain things that are out they probably don't want out, and that's understandable. But I do think they're handling things to the best they can at this moment. I really do. And I think that they are protecting information, which they should. And Diana says, and CP finds out Sebastian's missing before he's even at work. Why wouldn't he head straight home? Instead, he goes to work. Yeah, who does that? I honestly, I don't know. And that's another thing that we did find out, that's most likely not true, right? Because it's been alleged that Chris's job started at 7 a.m. that morning, that everybody on the job started at 7 o'clock that day. So if that is true, then he couldn't have been up in the crane when Katie called him, one earbud in each ear, one operating his job, the other one listening to her on the phone. Again, it doesn't add up. I understand that if he was in a crane, he'd have to climb down from it. They're super, super tall, right? It's way up in the air. But no, if he was, in my opinion, at that time, if Katie called after 6, he would have been on his way to work, if not maybe right to the job site, and maybe waiting beforehand. Some people get to work super early. Sometimes they do. So let's just say he did. I would have called my boss immediately, and I would have been on the road home as fast as I could. it's just, it doesn't add up, Diana. It really doesn't. Hey, Meow, thank you so much for being number 50. Thank you, hon. Unjustice Project says, I created a spreadsheet with every news outlet across the US and Canada by searching the NAICS codes. My goal is to get every email address and do email blasts. Whoa, Unjustice Project. That's really, really cool. Wow, that is so neat. That is great. And so then you would just be able to just do like a blast of Sebastian's missing poster and information like that, right? That is really cool. Wow, great idea. See, and that's the wonderful thing about people just all thinking together. You think outside the box. That is such a cool idea. Wow. Lil Redo says, without blaming anyone, I know those people are running scared. Oh, yeah. I would be. I was about to be found out. No, I'm just kidding. All alleged in my opinion, but yeah, I believe so. I agree. The truth is going to come out, and if there's something that people are hiding, which I do believe that we have good knowledge that that's a strong possibility. Yeah, then they know they it's just going to be part of it, and it's just natural, And Shopudo says, Seth is Sebastian's dad. I will put faith where he goes. That's right. Yeah, it's his call, not mine. And I agree with that. Who are we to say, because he's the one talking with law enforcement, and it's sounds like it's like kind of every 2 days, so that's a really good pace, right? So they're in contact, and that's important. I love hearing that. Communication is so important. I'm a big believer in that in any capacity, like friendships, family, law enforcement with a missing family, law enforcement with people, just like in Jana's case, with her sister Crystal. It's like that was not open, right? And that was the most frustrating thing about it for her, and that's why she wrote her book, and that's why she's helping advocate for other families. That's why she's helping other families, because it is very difficult to navigate through, from my understanding and from what she's told me as well, when your family member needs justice. And so, thank you, Mally Cat. That's so sweet of you. Thank you so much. Mally Cat says, I'm proud to be a part of this channel. Keep up the good work, lady. Sebastian, Wayne, Drake, Rogers, we will never give up until you're home. Thank you, Mally Cat. And I second that. And I think the more that we talk, about Sebastian, the more that we share his flyer. So there's a brand new flyer out again, guys. You can go to Seth's channel. And if you guys can drop Seth's channel in the chat, please. I didn't have a chance to write down all of the links, but there is also some really good information that I'm going to pull in from the live too, and I will post the links up too. So if you want to help, if you want to volunteer, if you want a bracelet, right? Very cool stuff happened tonight. And we'll get into it. I just love reading your comments. But we will never give up. We never will, and we shouldn't give up. There's a lot of new stuff out. The Texas Roadhouse can be analyzed over and over. There's a lot of things that we can analyze still, and keep it in a direction of, let's think critically about this situation. Even if we have to go all the way back to the beginning, I'll do that with you guys. We can do that. But going back to the beginning, what was going on, right? Because even looking at it now, we're going to have different ideas. And then, also, I almost forgot. So, and I will get this out to you guys as well. Seth was working on, I'm not going to start the list stuff again, right? But there's good lists, guys. I'm a very big list maker. I still write mine out too. I don't even use my cell phone. I write them with a pen and paper. So he is working on getting some phone numbers and different emails and different avenues that people can contact and reach out and spread awareness and ask for different things, right? So I'm going to get that out to you, but I think that is a huge step in the right direction, getting us all together so our voices can be heard, because we are very powerful when we have that, like so powerful. Again, back to communication, but um, yeah, they taught Sebastian how to call 911. I believe I heard that. Yeah, I believe it was our friend Smiley's story, and she said, or she asked, if there was an emergency, would Sebastian know what to do? And Katie said, yeah, he might be a little, like, if he's nervous, he might forget some things. But that's anybody, right? Because when we're in a traumatic situation, there's no telling what you're gonna do. But everybody. That's why it's 911. It's just so easy to remember, right? And that's why we're all told that. But yeah, thank you, prayer warrior. And yeah, see, I don't know about that, little Redo, if they called. See, because I never heard anything about a private cell phone number, but I wouldn't put it past anybody. I just never heard of it. If there was a private number called, he, as far as what Chris said, was that he called the sheriffs directly because you don't want to have to go to a central dispatch and like all of this crazy nonsense, in my opinion. I know there's a method to people's madness sometimes, but that one didn't really compute to me. And Tina says, did CP really call the sheriff's department? Oh gosh, you guys, okay. Thanks, Tina girl. Okay, you guys have the same question. Oh wow, Injustice Project, that is awesome. Really is, really is. Aw, thanks, Mom. And Sasha says, why would they let Seth bring dogs to the property if something wasn't there? Well, I mean, I think this is the conclusion they've come to, Sasha, is my understanding. Like, say in the beginning they thought, hey, Sebastian must have walked off. So they were looking around everywhere around the house. But maybe after further investigating, looking at all the camera footage and things like that, they're not seeing him leaving the home. And so now it's their understanding that there's not information that leads us, or evidence that leads anyone to believe that Sebastian left the home. Which is, it's interesting, but I think that, that one explanation could be that they just simply don't have the evidence. And so in that case, that's where their minds are going. Like, we just don't know because we didn't have any evidence. So I think that answers our question about, was Sebastian seen out in the neighborhood, or was he picked up on any surveillance around the neighborhood? I think that would be a no. That's where that's what conclusion I draw from it. Yes, of course I will, Seth, for sure, for sure, for sure. Can you please share my community post, please? Yes, and I did share the most recent one because it popped right in after your live. So I definitely will. And thank you so much. They're always so good, and to the point, and good information. So thank you. And C. Taylor says, we have to remember we don't want the truth any more than Seth wants the truth. That is very true, C. Taylor. And Sebastian's family, the people that he loves, that love him, and I agree with that 100%. Yeah, and that's why I think it's just so important that the communication is open with law enforcement there. So that's wonderful. Yeah, that's so true. Lil Redo, that's so true. I don't care if I catch a fish or not. It's a good bonding time with your child. It is. And just to get out into fresh air and sit and it's very nice. I agree. Oh, Napanoch Father says, did you get a chance to go in the house yourself after all this happened? I believe so. That was another really interesting thing about America's Most Wanted, that we're gonna get a chance to see kind of Sebastian's room, and you know, which is very gracious, and that's why I said that earlier about Seth being really gracious, because it says a lot about somebody if you can kind of see that. And so I think it's really going to help us, understand Sebastian more. So that was really neat too. The truth always comes out. Yep, in the end, lies change all the time, but the truth never changes. I agree, Jen. I do. Looks like Sebastian to me running like Naruto. Another home that's similar, and KP said he runs. Um, let's see. Runs like Naruto. So, yes, and that's one thing Katie said, that he does run like Naruto. And I hope I'm saying it right. Um, so, but yeah, you know, it's hard. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. Just not a Swiftie. Hope floats. I love that. I love that. Love that. Love that. Um, yeah, and I am a Swiftie. My daughter is like a major Swiftie. I mean, she saw her in concert so many times. Um, so she's a definite Swiftie. Um, and Justice Project says, I love to fish, but I won't touch the worm or the fish. So basically, I'm a pain in the A to fish with. That's funny. When my daughter was little, there was a pond in the back of our apartments, and we would take her over there, and we'd use like hot dogs and like corn and stuff, like just little things like that. Because that way she could like learn how to put it on the hook and stuff. But the sunfish would eat it like crazy. Like we'd catch them one after another. So it was, entertaining for her. She didn't lose her interest or anything. And I learned how to take the sunfish off because they have like the spikes and stuff. But that's kind of the only one. Like if it's a catfish, forget it. I'm not touching it. Like I can't. But little fish, I'm okay with. The worm isn't fun. Um, Mom says fishing is the best. My son asks every day. He loves to with my husband, but he hasn't made any friends to fish with. Oh, well, I hope he does. Um, my husband needs a friend to fish with here, and I'm not big on touching the worms. I always say you don't like the worms either. That's funny. Those poor little worms. They don't even know their fate until they're on the hook, right? Um, Forrest says, Seth, what are the chances that Sebastian was taken out of the country? Oh, that's a good question, Forrest. I did download the flyer that was in Spanish too. Yes, I did. Oh, Napanish brother. Well, in some questions, just keep in mind, and I don't know which ones are which, that, maybe something that, you know, close to the investigation, or Tina girl, I absolutely love fishing. Worms don't bother me. There you go. You can do everything yourself. Oh man, we need you on a fishing trip then. You're going to get annoyed with everybody though. You'll be like, learn how to do it yourself. Um, yeah, I understand that, Mom, and I think that's responsible to think about it that way too, though. Mom says that's my biggest issue, not knowing what law enforcement needs not discussed. I just pray the Lord guides me and try to follow what Seth tells us to keep his name out so people see and learn about Sebastian. Absolutely. And, that's one thing. Sebastian makes it easy on us because he's just so cute, right? So the minute that you show someone Sebastian's picture and his smile, and people are like, okay, I want to know more, and that's a good thing. They were talking about earlier about the milk cartons, and I thought that was a really, really good idea. I'm just going to kind of scroll up, guys, because I know I get so backed up in chat. Hey, Kelly, good to see you. I got change. Good to see you. Thanks for being here, guys. The new reward has been in the chat. Yes. VOP numbers allegedly. Yeah, Brandon and Indy. There's a lot of that VOP it's hard to trace those. I don't even know that if you can. Yeah, he never said he called the sheriff dispatch. That's why I'm asking. Lil Redo says. Oh, don't worry, hon. Don't worry, Rogue. Oh gosh, girl, don't think like that, please. Please, pretty please, because no, you're fine. And I'm sorry that you're having heart palpitations. My goodness. Oh. Well, if you get them bad, go to the ER. You know what I mean? Because that's not good. And Lindsay says, why is Chris always there? This was a parents' affair. Why did Chris tag along? Let Katie answer the questions. It's always Chris, and the common denominator. I do agree with that, Lindsay. I wish that he would just let Katie kind of speak, and especially if he's claiming that he didn't see Sebastian since the beginning of February, he still maintains that. So what, and I get him being on the phone, but yeah, I think it's a great positive I got change. There's just going to be so many folks that are going to be sitting in their living rooms ready to watch America's Most Wanted, and they're going to turn on their local Fox station, and there's going to be Sebastian's story, and it's going to be wonderful. I am very happy, but I'm also just grateful too, because I do want to always give credit where credit is due on that. I think that it's great that Chris and Katie are going. Just period, leaving it at that. I think it's good. Good. I'm glad that they were interviewed, I should say, because that already happened. But yeah, I think it's good. Yes, we are praying for you, Rogue. Aw. You got 3 kittens? Aw. I love cats. Hey, Lori, good to see you. Sorry, guys, I'm kind of scrolling through pretty quick. Hey, Carrie Star, nice to see you. I hope you guys are all having a good Saturday, Sunday morning. Hey, Don B, good to see you on. Wait, what? I love Wait, what? Your name is, I say it now, I'll be like, wait, what? And then I'll be like, wait, what? 9 more minutes of a perfect birthday today. Oh, happy birthday. Family and friends are so very important. Thank you, lady. You're welcome. Wait, what? Happy birthday. I'm so glad. Yes. And, yeah, so you must be Central Time. I looked up, I was like, oh yeah, I'm still stuck in Central Time. I'm not used to Eastern yet. I have to admit. Maman says, I always wondered why Mountain Dew or Coke can't figure missing children since, feature missing children. Oh, what a good idea. Oh, man. They always have various labels, not enough awareness since they stopped the milk cartons. Yeah, I think that is a fantastic idea. I mean, even if they were to do they could do a lot of kids like that. They could have, I wonder how we would make that happen, Maman. That's a great idea. I wonder how people were able to get them on the milk cartons. When I did, oh gosh, I was just a brand new creator on here when I did it. But I hope so, Forrest. But I did a video on kind of like where all of the missing flyers kind of came about. Like, when did we start doing missing flyers for people? And the milk cartons was the first big one, right? But I don't know I didn't deep dive, so I don't know who started that or how it came about, but that would be a wonderful idea to put it on pop cans or soda cans. Yes. Aw, thank you, Don. Thank you so much. Aw, Lori, thank you, Lori. Yes, with the new award amount, we need everyone to remind people that they can come forward and remain anonymous with FBI, dog, and at night. Absolutely, Carrie. I think it's very important. Money talks. It just does. And I think it is such great news because every single time it goes up, that's more leverage, right? It's like somebody's thinking about it. When it goes up, somebody's probably getting a little worried. I would be if I was a particular person, and I'm not saying, just whoever is responsible has got to be, hopefully worried, And John B says, thank you, Mom. I've been trying out my new riding mower. Oh, that's cool. I never minded push mowing, but Jen, I had just, oh, good. But yeah, baby aspirin helps, Rogue. A good friend of mine has AFib, so yeah, I always just like, you know, if you're feeling really bad or anything, just make sure you go to the ER is my best. Maman says, Carrie Star, absolutely. That's a very good point. In my opinion, often forget to mention anonymity. I always say that word wrong. However, they would need some level of transparency if they qualify for the reward and some, yeah, etc. I would assume. Well, that's true. That's a good point. And we were talking about the reward last night, actually, and hindsight was helping us with that one too. I go ninja go rogue. I've done all I can do. I don't know what else to do, but I can't let go. I'm very perplexed. Well, you know, Sasha, you know what's a great thing too, and guidance reminded us again, you know, even if you were to print out like 10 flyers and just pass them out where you're at, that really helps awareness too. And then also the newest flyer, you can get it on my community wall and just post it to your Instagram, your, I'm so bad with all these, TikTok, X, and everywhere. You can post it on, you know, your community wall and YouTube too, because the more people, like some people won't follow me, but some people will follow other people. And so, you know, you're going to catch a wider audience if you know, the more places that we post it, you know. Oh, Bear Warrior, your Pacific time? Okay, there you go. Yep, it's Wait What's birthday. Wait what? Central time in Indiana, yeah, Connie. No, it's like they never announced who came forward, even when it's said and done. Right, exactly. I think they do. They, you know, most of the time. I mean, I think I've seen people be recognized. Well, you know, like when Adventures with Purpose found Kylie Rodney, and I kind of used her as an example last night. She was found in a body of water that they were kind of wondering if maybe she drove into accidentally or something like that, but they were able to find her in the body of water. You know, thank God they did find her. Just a beautiful girl, Kylie Rodney was. And they did in that case tell who it was. You know, they said Adventures with Purpose found her, but kind of because I was following them back then too. So they were pretty public with their search and things like that. We all kind of knew that they were on it. Yeah, Sasha, I know it's frustrating. I understand that. And you know, I think he might be saying no foul play. This is just my opinion, guys. So it's nothing, you know, more than just my opinion. But I'm thinking he might be trying to keep that under wraps too. Because if you accuse people publicly, then they start making moves. You know what I mean? And it could impede the investigation or you know, tarnish it somehow. So we just never really know kind of what they're doing behind the scenes. And I will say that Craddock has been pretty consistent with that, you know, where he's kept it very closed off. So I can't even make fun of him for the gum, Jen, because I do the same thing, and that's why I don't chew gum, because I'm like I don't chomp on it or anything but closed mouth, and then, you know, I'm like, I don't know why my teeth hurt so bad. So, but no, I do believe, guys, I really do. And I would tell you, I would be the first one upset with him if I did not think that he was doing everything that he could for Sebastian. I would be. I would not give him a pass. I really wouldn't. But I do believe he's doing everything that he can. And Maman says, thought of that during our baby surgery yesterday. I emailed Red Bull since I live off the stuff, asking have they considered putting missing on, and attached Sebastian's flyer. Yeah, figured why not? Yeah, heck yeah, that is such a good idea. And I don't think it would. I mean, they could pretty much print whatever, right? I mean, it's their company, but yeah, I can't see it. That's where my heart will start racing way too fast. If I do Red Bull, oh, forget it. I don't know if I just drank too many, like Rockstar. I used to like the Diet Rockstars, and I don't know if I drank too many of those or what. Every time I listen to interviews, I hear something more. Yeah, absolutely, Forrest. And I think it's because, like, hindsight is more. Is better vision, right? Maybe it's not always 2020, but it's better vision, and you can look back and be like, wow, now that I know this, that makes sense, or now that I know this, that doesn't make sense anymore. So it's a different view. And then also sometimes if you take a step away from something and then go back and look at it again, like proofreading something, you might not find any mistakes if you proofread. Okay, I don't find any mistakes, but if you put it down and then come back, you might find a mistake. So it's because you're getting your mind off it, putting a fresh set of eyes on it. And Craddock has talked about putting fresh sets of eyes on things. So I think that he understands that aspect too, because he's mentioned that before. I really do think that. So. Yeah, exactly. Before it's super hot outside, Mom. And hey, Maleficent, good to see you. So good to see you. Oh, I'm so sorry you're not feeling well. Oh my goodness. Well, I hope we can help you take your mind off things. I'm so glad you're here. And Maman says also Sebastian's safety. We don't know what we do. Oh, excuse me. We don't know what we don't know. There could be very valid reasons. I try to be open-minded, and if it's oh, sorry. Oh, no, I lost your comment. Dang it. Okay, there we go. Sorry, guys. Oh, it looks like I'm catching up a little bit. Thank goodness. Okay, let me click it. There we are. I try to keep an open mind, and if his dad's saying trust them right now, I trust them. That's my opinion. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And I know that they wouldn't. I know that Tony and Seth would not um, just say that, right? If they weren't being updated, because that was kind of the case, and it's changed. It's changed. So it's good. It's a positive, and that's one thing we need to focus on things like that and say, okay, good. Okay, check mark. That's off the list. What can we refine? What can we do to make things better? Because there's nothing wrong with that. We all want the best for Sebastian. We do. Um, and Don B says, Sumner County Sheriff's Office said they have thrown everything at the case. I bet specialized agencies are throwing what they have at the investigation also. I agree with that, Don B. And I think that so thank you so much for your comment. And I think that the specialized agencies were even brought in too in the beginning. So they have like a lot of knowledge about the beginning of the case and on, moving forward too, which is good because sometimes they come into the case later, but that isn't how it's gone. So I think that they are doing everything. I really do. Because if they weren't, I would say it. I'd say, well, they need to do better on this, but we also have to give them credit too and thank them for their hard work because it's not easy, and I really believe that, there's a reason why people get into certain professions that they do is because they want to help, especially a police officer. Um, And Carrie Starr says they can have a pretty good idea of what happened, but without solid proof, absolutely. Or a lot of rock solid circumstantial evidence, they cannot get a conviction and they'll only get one shot at it. Yeah, they only get the one shot, right? They only get one shot. Um, and in this case too, we've kind of talked about it. It's a high profile case, right? we are dealing with people that do have some money, if it is the way that I'm thinking it could be. So that's always a factor. But then also, say it's somebody that is not involved at all, or somebody that, um, maybe Sebastian doesn't know, which I don't think that's the case. But even if it was, let's just say it was, um, they still want to make sure that they have all of their ducks in a row, right? So, um, they have to have enough evidence, like you said, to convince a jury beyond a reasonable doubt. And don't forget that a defense attorney can come in and, have evidence suppressed, different things like that. So having a little bit more than needed is ideal, too, just in case they say, well, we're going to throw this evidence out because of this, or we're going to do, this because of this. Oh, it's so critical, Carrie. Thank you. Yeah, that's why getting someone with receipts to come forward is critical. I mean, it's absolutely the most important thing, because we all know, and a lot of us kind of are like that too. Like we're thinking to ourselves, well, I need to see it for myself, or I need the proof, and I think that's a good way to be. And also, just say that someone was accusing you of a crime, because I know if somebody was accusing me of a crime, I would want them to remember that I am innocent until I'm proven guilty, not the other way around. So I think that it's important um, to keep that mindset and be like, okay, well, here's the proof. Okay, I need to see proof before I can make up my mind. And that's what the jury is going to be asked to do, um, in a trial, is to look at evidence, and we have to have evidence to show them. And like you said as well, with the circumstantial um, evidence, it still has to be pretty rock solid, even though I think a lot of us, I know I do. I'm like, I think I have enough evidence, dang it. But, at the end of the day, we have to make sure that there's enough to convince a jury that's never heard of this, right, before. Say, because most of the time they're going to make sure that the jury pool is like clean, right? It can't be people who are biased. It can't, when you go in for jury selection, and if they say, have you ever heard of Sebastian Rogers before? And you say yes, you're out. Like, the defense is going to be like, you can't be in here because you're going to have a biased opinion. You've already made your minds up. It's another reason why, whenever people are, on the witness stand and things like that, it's a difficult dance, because there's a lot of rules involved when it comes to a trial. Like you can't use hearsay, for example. You can't just be like, well, Katie Proudfoot told me this, because that's hearsay. Katie Proudfoot said this. It has to be solid. It cannot be just, willy-nilly, which is good, because like I said, if it was somebody that was innocent and they're being tried, we want to make sure that we're putting guilty people and, not people who are innocent. So there's a lot of moving parts to it. It rained here today, Rogue. We had rain today. It was a kind of a dreary day today, which usually Florida's always sunny. And Connie says, same with videos, catch something different every time I watch. That is so true, Connie. And then also, like, the Texas Roadhouse video is that one for me, just watching how well Hindsight put it together. I mean, even watching the flashlight video that's very dark, there's still little things that you catch within that video as well, every time you watch it. So I agree. It's, it's kind of like analyze, interpret, and then just like put it down for a while and then come back to it, and then analyze, and then see if you have different interpretations. Because I think you will, or you'll have more information. You'll notice things that you didn't notice before. Texas Roadhouse video was pretty mind blowing to me, honestly, because there were people in there that I wasn't paying attention to, and then all of a sudden I was paying attention to them. Busy night at the Texas Roadhouse for sure. I don't think that Sasha, I know that's frustrating. I don't think that LE noticed that. And maybe they did. Maybe it's in their notes in the case file somewhere. Talking about the bite, talking about what is perceived by some and myself as being bite marks on Chris's arm, scratches and kind of bite marks, right? I don't think that they saw those. I don't think those were on their radar early on. I think they were more so like, these are grieving parents all three parents are grieving. It must be so terrible for them. And they were overlooking, and that's where our unconscious bias comes in, right? So it's like, and just to really explain it really quick, how unconscious bias works, like, you might not even be realizing that you're making snap judgments about a person just by, it's judging a book by its cover, right? So you're looking at a person and you're saying, okay, they're clean cut, their history is Navy, their home is clean, there's food in the refrigerator, right? Little things like that. And then especially when you're a police officer and sometimes you go into a home like that, the poor little kids. It was a brother and sister who had autism that Smiley showed earlier today. A mother, her mother, and her mother's boyfriend. So grandparents and a mother in the household. They were, the house on the outside was perfectly great, decorated for Easter, autism awareness everywhere, looked really good. On the inside, there was feces, urine, things like that. When we walk into a home like that, we're like, oh my God, who is living in here and why are they doing this to whoever's living here? How can anybody live here? When you walk into Chris and Katie's house, in my opinion, I've never, saw their house, but I'm sure it's tidy, looks normal, right? So it's a big difference. You just automatically have that unconscious bias one way or another, and so I just think that's where that came from, in my opinion. Yeah, Cody Bixby's parents didn't, and they were jailed with no body. Yeah. And it just kind of depends, oh, hi, Unified for Summer. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Lori says, it was hot here today too. The spring breakers own the beach. Uh-oh, Lori, that's hilarious. When I went to the beach, it was really like windy and kind of wild. And so I think they were like, I don't know, they were probably on the one stretch, they have like the little tiki bars and stuff, but there's like a big pool that you can like go in there and it's always packed with people, it's just like, holy cow. But, and Elijah Vu, Jen. Yeah, very true. Very, very true. They cannot disclose to us any evidence they do not have so far either. It can jeopardize the case. Yeah, they're building. Absolutely, Carrie. And, in my opinion, like I said, I'm not a law enforcement officer or whatever, but like strategically speaking, I wouldn't like go off and be like, hey, I think it's you, Mr. Proudfoot. We do that here because we're opinion, right? But if I was handling the case or if I was an investigator on the case, I mean, I'd be closed-lipped. If the media came to me, I have no comment. We're working on it. Just know we're working on it. Things like that. But I would never come out and be like, yep, we're looking for this person with this description because, it could be like, he's wearing a mint colored shirt up there and a ball cap. You know what I mean? And then Chris is like looking down, oh crap. You know what I mean? I'm just kidding. I'm just using you as an example, Chris. Don't get too upset with me. But it's just one of those things where you're not gonna let the cat out of the bag. You got to kind of finesse it a little bit and make them think that you're not thinking about them. So I also think that too. And that's so true, Carrie. We don't want to jeopardize anything, and they don't, definitely. And they're professionals in what they're doing. Um, Yeah, I don't think they noticed those bite marks, Sasha, and I know it's frustrating, hun. I know it is. It's very frustrating. But I don't think they did notice that. Oh, hey, little Miss Sharon. Okay, thank you for the likes, guys. That's so sweet of you. I'm trying to do a goal of 200, like that. That's my newest goal because you guys are so good at getting up to 100. So I was like, hey, why not? Last night we were at what, 182, I think, or something. I'm always grateful for it. I'm just always grateful for all of you guys. Um, well, and those dental records play a big role in it, Sasha. They really do because it's a main identifier, right? There's certain identifiers like that. Oh, that's a good idea. On justice. Okay, so tagging, I'm gonna have to tag the news stations. That's a great idea. And Prayer Warrior says, I heard something new from an old interview. When asked what she did upon realizing Sebastian was gone, she said she censored herself. Odd interview with the crane, in my opinion. Oh, okay. Oh, I know which one you're talking about. Yep, Chronicles. And she said to censor myself, holy freaking crap, or something like that. Yes, I do remember that, Prayer Warrior. I do. Um, to censor myself. And she said some choice words were used. I don't know why Katie did the tough thing in that one. That's one thing that kind of bothered me. Um, I don't know why she did that. So yeah, because that was the first time that Katie kind of used like any type of swears or anything. She doesn't, in the other interviews, she used words like I was panicked, I was frantic, things like that. But then in that particular interview, and that was the same one with saying that Sebastian's chore was to take the can to the end of the driveway, and he did that when he came home from the roadhouse. I don't know, but yeah, that's just always that was a very odd interview. A lot of things were added in. Katie also added in that she drove up to the school in that one, right? Um, I drove around to the school and then, you know, I ran and then she said, I mean, drove back home. I don't know. That was a very weird interview, in my opinion, as well. Just different, and the story changed in that. In my opinion, there was a lot added to her story that wasn't said before that. And I don't know if that was because she was telling the story over and over at that point or what that was. Or if it was like Yeda said, because I did agree with Yeda when she said that Katie may have been watching the news and adding to her story, or may have been watching what YouTubers and things were saying and adding to the story. Or maybe she was caught on camera at the school, and so she added that part to the story because she figured out that she was caught on camera at the school and she had better add that to her story. Um, I hate to think that that's the case, but it could very well be. Um, in my humble opinion, that's all the investigation needs, is that one link and one shot at conviction. We we didn't, or excuse me, we don't need another Morphew. Yeah, in my in my honest opinion, I feel Sebastian is with someone the Proudfoots know. And you could be right. Wait, what? And I do agree with that. just one link. And, and I keep saying too, like, we just need one, like, mistake, one little slip up. We just have to find, because a lot of people will do that one little thing, and they'll get caught. We see it a lot in true crime where it's like, they got away with it, but then this one little mistake leads you to believe that, okay, you had something to do with it. Like you said, that one link. Um, yeah, thank you. Wait, what? Yeah, it's been a year. I know. Hey, Anna Marie, good to see you. Yeah, yeah. Mom says, wait, what? Oh, goodness. No, definitely not. I agree. Wait, what? Says Carrie Star, you think like me? Jen says, Tennessee is more of a keep the body hidden for as long as they can so they don't have to do as much. Tennessee is #1 in the nation to have kids go missing and not found. Oh, I know. And those statistics are so hard, Jen. Thank you for sharing that. Um, well, and that's another reason I wanted to kind of highlight Summer's case too. Um, because it's just been too long, and and there's a lot there's a lot of kids that are still missing out of Tennessee. I agree. Yeah, they can prosecute even without getting Sebastian back, but the burden of proof is way higher. They have to prove something beyond any reasonable doubt. Look how divided YouTube is. Well, and that's, I thought it was very interesting, even during the Delphi case, how many people thought Richard Allen was completely guilty, how many people, thought he wasn't. And even if we just did, like, yes or no on that, guilty or not, um, it was very split down the middle. And I was very surprised to see that. Some people were like, oh, he's very, very guilty. Other people, oh, no, he wasn't. And so, yeah, Carrie, I understand what you're saying there. Very divided. And yeah. Yeah, yeah, I don't know about that, Rogue, if there is proof of a friendship, with the step family or anything like that in LE. Um, and I agree, it would be a conflict of interest. I mean, that's exactly what it is. I don't know that it's going to be reassigned at this point. I mean, but I think you're right. If there is a direct connection that can be proven, I do believe that would warrant that, in my opinion. I will not give up hope. Thank you. Wait, what? Me neither. And I think that's the biggest thing, is to keep the faith, keep hope alive. That's so big, because that's hard. That takes work. That takes praying. That takes patience. That takes, and I told you guys, I'm impatient, but I'm trying to work on it. And Forrest says the Texas Roadhouse video, the lights video, all the people possibly involved is haunting. Yeah, and that's where I'm at with it, Forrest, too, because I definitely get into that mindset, or go down that rabbit hole myself. Just thinking about who all could be involved. Going back to means, motive, opportunity. Those are the big ones that we really need to look at, because that's kind of how those are kind of the starters, right? When you're brainstorming about a case, is looking for those elements, means, motive. Who had the means to do it? Who had a motive? What is the motive, and who had that motive? And then who had the opportunity? Those are so important, and those are the things that the jury wants to hear about. They want proof. They need to have that proof proof, excuse me, so they can go back into the jury room and deliberate. It's very important to have that. And if you don't have that, then that's giving the defense leverage, whoever did it, whoever, whatever happened. Well, I believe there were burner phones, Sasha. I do. I do. Yes, ma'am. And I believe that there were burner phones. Yeah, I believe we're going to be shocked, Forrest, when we find out the truth. I do. I do. Really, I do. Maman says, I 100% agree. Absolutely cannot. That's not even an option, in my opinion. We have to keep the faith. Thank you, Maman. I agree. I agree. We have to. We have to. We have to. And it keeps us in a better mindset too. Because we have to stay in a positive mindset so that way we can think clearly. Because if you're in a negative mindset, it can drag you down. But if you're thinking positively, it can really keep you in a better headspace. It's just so important. It's just so, so, so very important. Lori says 100% Forrest. Oh gosh, I hope it doesn't take that long, Sasha. My goodness. Oh. In my opinion, the date is very important as well. The 26th of February reporting allegedly. Yeah, I believe so too. I believe so too. And don't forget they changed that. They were saying the 25th and then it changed to the 26th. Yeah, Connie, that's another battle, right? When we're talking about the jury pool, because I think that it's going to be, and the smaller the area and things like that, the more difficult that becomes. But I don't think it's impossible. They would just pretty much have to get people who aren't into true crime probably too. But Seth had said earlier in his live that you'd be surprised how many people are unaware. So spreading awareness is so important, too. But I agree, that is something to consider. See, I don't believe that Carter doesn't answer the phone. See, I've not heard that, Sasha. I have not heard that. I think, and like I said, I did a deep dive in, I did a deep dive into Carter, and he seems like a reputable man. He seems like a good man to me. And I say that, if I found something that wasn't becoming of an officer or something like that, I would share it with you all, but I cannot find anything like that. Looks like he's been recognized for his hard work. So I think that we have to get, as long as we don't find anything out, I'm not saying that I'm 100% or I can't change my mind, or, I'm not listening to anything anybody has to say. No, but I just don't want to, I don't want to bash an innocent person who's looking for Sebastian, who spends every single day looking for him and finding out what happened to him. I just want to be very careful with that. If there's no proof, again, we have to have that proof. It's just the same thing if somebody comes in and says, well, I know Chris from this. Well, you're going to have to prove that to me before we're going to run with it, right? Because it's not fair. We have to be fair. And Forrest says Sebastian's body language, and KP's for that matter, is telling. I feel sorry for Sebastian. I pray constantly. The body language is one that bothers me. It looked like in the video that Dog just put out, and maybe he's put something else out, but the most recent one that I've seen, it looks like Katie is telling Sebastian something, right? It's almost like she's, being stern, talking with her hands, telling him something, right? This is how it's going to be. That's what kind of keeps ringing in my head. And I don't know what is being said. We cannot see Katie's facial expressions. Thankfully, we can see Sebastian's, because we do need to see him, his mannerisms. It's important, right? Katie's not missing. He is. But I would like to see her facial expressions along with her body language, right? Because I talk with my hands. I can see Katie talks with her hands too, it seems like. I'd like to see the facial expressions that are matching that to have a better idea. But it seems to me, from what I'm seeing, is that she was telling him something that maybe he didn't want to hear. I don't want to say that she was getting on to him. I'm not there yet, but it almost seems like she might have been telling him something sternly, right? This is how we're going to do it. This is how it's going to be. Something like that. And Sebastian, in my opinion, the way that I look at the Texas Roadhouse video, polite, respectful, well-mannered, well-behaved, looked tired to me. He looked like he was, had had a long day, just my opinion. And he looked like, he was hungry, eating his food. And then, one thing that really bothers me is that, like, there was a photo sent of to make sure that he ate his plate, or, what have you. That bothers me. I just don't like that. I wouldn't want somebody taking a picture of me and sending it to somebody else of what I ate. I mean, it's intrusive, but that's his mom. So, Carrie Starr says, Sasha Johnson, I'm sure Ellie is aware, and it takes a very, very long time to get the cell phone companies to give up the data too. They fight it. That's a really good point, Carrie. And to go over and analyze all of this data, right? It takes time, it takes energy, and it's something that we want them to be thorough with. So I think that we should give them that, that chance to be able to do a thorough job and to make sure. And sometimes, again, like we were saying before, you might look at something, check it, right? And then the next day you come in for work again, right? And it's on your desk and you look over it again and like, oh, okay, there we go. I got something else, so it does take that. And then also maybe even a fresh set of eyes, like, here, I've went over this data. Can you look over it too? So it's a process. It is, Carrie. Thank you for saying that. John B says, did Katie hire a defense attorney or a general attorney? Ooh, I do not know. And I'm also confused as to whether, I'm still confused as to how long she's had an attorney, because there's times in different interviews that you can kind of hear, one in particular, the one with Heather, PI, Chris, and Katie, there was a man in the background of that interview, and I don't know if it was an attorney. Also, it seems like, Mama Flying Monkey Socks does have friends that are attorneys, right? Because we talked about Patty, dang it, I'm going to forget her last name. Greer, is that what is it? But either way, the one that served Nina, right? So she has friends that are kind of maybe willing to go and set with them, but I don't know when she actually hired and what type of attorney he is. I know, Sasha, I know you're frustrated, hon. I know you are. And I think that TBI, I was very surprised on how they handled Megan Boswell's trial. I thought that they did a good job there. I do. I think that they were able to, bring her in. Okay, you've lied to us. Okay, now we're going to charge you with that. And then they were able to get the truth out. I'd like to see some pressure like that. I can't lie, but I do. I know you're frustrated, so. Yeah, just never hear more about it, Sasha Johnson. Yeah. And that's, and it is frustrating. It is, and then we also have, with Summer's case, it's another, it's just more frustration. And now the FBI, to my knowledge, is, having they would have to be really invited in, which I think that they are working with Sumner County Sheriff's Office. I do. And TBI, I think they're all working together. But again, for them to take over jurisdiction, it needs to be kind of handed over, or the way they say it is invited. They need to be invited to take over, right? So it's just, again, that we need that from whoever's jurisdiction it is, which in this case it'd be Sumner County. It's still under local jurisdiction. And Carrie says, Sasha, the FBI cannot come in and do anything without being, thank you, invited by Ellie. Thanks, Carrie. See, you guys are so smart. All I have to do is just read your comments. I don't even have to answer anything or explain it. You guys are good. Too clean, why? Well, a germaphobe or something. What we looking at? Well, okay, so that bothered me with the devices being too clean, because again, and Seth said this in a couple lives ago, no evidence is evidence. If there's no evidence, it's fishy. That's saying something that, oh no, I wouldn't have asked Seth if he remembers what Chris was wearing, if it was a long sleeve shirt or short sleeves, although he might not remember. That's a good question. That would be a good question, Rogue, to see if he remembers if Chris was wearing long or short sleeves. But I mean, if he had those marks on his forearms, which it kind of looked like he did, some of them on this end, he could have been sitting like this in a short sleeve shirt, I don't know. And then again, also, that's where that unconscious bias comes in, where they weren't really probably paying attention to everything like that. It could have been not Seth necessarily. I think he's very observant, but I'm talking about law enforcement. They might have been looking them in the face. They might have been making eye contact and not looking them over particularly. Gary, it was so sad. It was so sad. I just lost it. I just thought, oh my gosh, how are these kids living? You know what I mean? And then just, again, where's Sebastian? What is going on? It just really got me. I really needed that positive live that they did, and the uplifting. That beautiful song I posted was really nice to have. Because, I'm like anybody else, guys. I'm frustrated as you are. I really am. I'm frustrated as you are. There's days where I'm like, damn it, can something happen here? What are we doing? I'm very impatient. I told you, I really am. I'm very impatient, and there's days where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just racking my brain, right? And we all go through that, but I just want to be careful not to misplace any type of energy or anger, because I know that's counterproductive to what we're trying to achieve. Halia said would be great if Ellie bugged the house. Well, here's the thing, guys. I will just, reference another case, but with Brian Laundrie, they had eyes. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that like law enforcement is watching. They're watching, because I think that there was a shift in their thinking, and that has to come from evidence. So I think they are bugged, Holly S. But that's just my opinion. I don't know. Yeah. The actions speak louder than words, Rogue. They do. Right, Sasha, exactly. Something is not right about something that's clean. And I like to use the steering wheel as an example, right? So if you went into my car and you dusted for fingerprints and you don't see my fingerprints in my own car, then that's cause for concern, right? That means I cleaned the steering wheel off. Why did I clean the steering wheel off? You know what I mean? Because there should be my prints in there. If you can't find a single hair, especially someone like me that sheds like crazy, that means that I vacuumed up and I cleaned really well, and you can't find anything, that in and of itself is a huge clue, right? So yeah. Um, Hey, Bubbly Beth, good to see you, honey. She says, "Hi, everyone. JLR said today that investigators were in New Mexico asking questions about CP and KP. I think, in my opinion, they're being followed. In my opinion, LE has more info than we think if they went to New Mexico." Right. Good point, Bubbly Beth. And I agree with you. Um, I think they're starting to realize, and follow different paths. And, like we were saying earlier, it's a process. So this is maybe where they're being led to. So yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad you said that. Thanks, Bubbly Beth, for that comment. Because I believe that. I believe they have information that they're tracking down. They really are. And I do think that they're tracking down new leads, but if we don't get a phone call right away, just remember, and especially, like, I hate to say this, but this is my opinion only, guys, but especially us pesky YouTubers, I'm almost hesitant to even say I'm a YouTuber sometimes if I ask a question, because it's like, I don't want them to think that I'm just being nosy. Like, I'm really intrigued by it. I want to know. But I think that that's very, very important to keep in mind, that um, they're not going to always get back to us. They might send a generic email back, be like, received. When I sent over information to the TBI, they just sent me back something saying, this is not, this is for public leads, right? So this is for you to send us information, but just remember that it's not manned 24 hours. So, that's why it's really good to send information to multiple places, right? Send it over to TBI, send it to Dogs Team, send it to Eric Craddock, send it to TBI. It's really important to do that. And then that way we know that it's been caught. But don't get upset when they don't, call back, because I would rather them say, "Okay, great, Lady Freedom, here's your generic email," and then get on it. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. I'm just, Gladys Kravitz over here looking out the window. Get to it, please, because it's so important. Just like, for example, the Missouri sighting that we thought, okay, wow, that kiddo looks a lot like Sebastian. And a lot of us were saying, yeah, but he would be older by now and things like that. But it's still important to send it over just in case. Just in case. You just never know. And Carrie says, "Some people are clean freaks. My mom is one of them." Well, and I am not, Carrie. That's a good, I can vouch for that. I can vouch for that. Yeah, my mother, like, you could totally eat off of her floor. Like, you could probably use like the 20-second rule at her house. But that's funny. Yeah, some people are extremely, like, meticulous about their cleaning and things like that. Others are not. And then there's a difference between, like, being messy and if it's like dirty, dirty, right? There's a difference between, like, me doing laundry and not. No, I'm just kidding. I really need to do my laundry, guys. It's bad. You would be surprised. It's like I either need a bigger laundry bin or I need to do some laundry tomorrow, which is what I'm going to be doing on my day off. Little Miss Sharon says, "Tidiness should have been a red flag. Us parents know our autistic children are messy." Well, and too, I think that a lot of times too, and correct me if I'm wrong, Little Miss Sharon, a lot of times, kids on the spectrum, or individuals on the spectrum, they kind of like things in a certain, or in order, in a certain place and things like that. So yeah, it could be a red flag to me. But then again, the opposite could be. It just kind of depends, right? On the kiddo. And like I said, like, when when I heard stories about like Sebastian, and how he was like, he would take some coaxing to get his room clean, right? Like my daughter, that was her biggest thing, like, and it's funny because she's a good kid. She always is a good kid. But it was like, it was like always the room, like, go clean your room already, please. Like, oh my gosh, put your toys in your bins, because I'd have like those Rubbermaid bins and things like that. And I'd be like, you got to put things in your bins and stuff and get it all cleaned up. And then I'd go in there to check, and it was like, why is everything in your closet? Or like, why did you stuff things in your drawers? And like, it was so bad, but that was always like a battle that I remember. So it just depends on like your kiddos too, kind of how their personality is, because some people are very particular, meticulous, and then other people are like, it doesn't matter. Like I'll just I won't match my socks, I'll just toss them in a drawer kind of thing. Other people have them rolled up really nice and neat, and it's in order and stuff like that. And Prayer Warrior says, I live in a college town. Spring break is my favorite. I love watching all the kids. I think it's funny. You'll see them, they're all dancing, they got their music, and I think it's fun. Springfield, Missouri has like 7 colleges, so it was a college town as well, pretty much. And it's just kind of like, you just see them all kind of bebopping around and stuff. I'm just glad my daughter has a little break from school because she really works hard and works at the hospital and stuff. I know, Sasha says, I feel like my hands are tied or something. It's annoying. I know, but there's always things that we can do, like, again, get excited about the new flyer, right? We have more money on the table. That's always going to make a big difference, right? Just sharing Sebastian, there's a brand new picture that came out. I mean, he just looks so cute. Just all of those things. And another thing too is, Mom told me this. It's a pretty cool idea where, get a tote bag made and put Sebastian's information on it, right? And then people will ask you about it. But even further than that, even if you just, want to keep it on your phone and, hey, this is Sebastian, try to bring him up to different people. I kind of inadvertently do that because people will be like, what do you do for work? And I'll be like, well, right now I'm a YouTuber and I have a channel and I talk about missing people, and I'll talk about Crystal and Sebastian, and it makes me feel like I'm doing something, because some people will kind of look at me strange. Other people will be like, oh, really? That's cool. Okay. And they'll talk to me about it. And so, there's just kind of little ways that you can bring it up, or, and I understand that not everybody is as well receiving of it, but you never know. But there's a lot of stuff that we can do. And then also just kind of reanalyzing old information, which I know is kind of, it can be a little, meticulous is not the word I was looking for. It could be repetitive, but you never know. You might find something different that you didn't realize that was there, It all helps. It all helps. And just you being in here chatting helps, Sasha, And Unjustice Project says, if I were doing an intake on behalf of a prosecuting attorney, my first question would be, who was with you when you met your attorney? Then depose that person. It's dirty, but it works. Unjustice Project, that's funny. That's brilliant. Oh my goodness. You always have to have a strategy, right? Strategy is important. It really is. Sasha, because I'll tell you what, if you don't have one, the other side's going to. So whoever you're up against is going to have, strategies of their own. And Sasha says, I would say we were never going to stop working on it, but if we suspect foul play, we were working with the FBI. Grab your Sasha. Well, I mean, and I think that I just think that we have to just keep the faith. And I think that um, at this point, we just really have to um, remember that they are doing the best that they can do, you know. But I know it's hard because it's just like when you care and you love somebody, it's like, nothing's ever good enough. It just isn't, and that's why I give Seth so much credit for staying positive, for keeping the faith, for keeping hope, for bringing awareness of his son, for talking about Sebastian. Um, it is so important. It is just so important. And, you know, because it is easy to fall into a funk. It is easy to be like, nothing's going to happen. But if you're like keeping yourself in that negative state, that's not helpful either. It's not helpful to be an over positive Pollyanna too. I mean, don't get me wrong, um, but just keeping a good balance and knowing that, the truth is going to come out. The truth always comes out, even if it takes a long time, it's still going to come out. Everything done in the dark is brought to light. And Adam Forever 21 says, in my opinion, yeah, the in-laws involved, and they know people in TB travels. They are criminals and talked Katie into this. I mean, I agree. I agree that, I mean, we'll just say this. Nice people, good people do not pay other people allegedly to do bad things, right, for them. That's what bad people do, I mean, their behaviors are definitely criminal in my opinion. Most people, when their son divorces or breaks up with someone, they're like, oh, well, I really liked her. She was, all right. Or, son, I never really liked her, I'm glad that you dodged a bullet, whatever. At least you didn't get married a seventh time if it's Chris. I'm just kidding, Chris. But, really. Um, so, but we certainly don't think about going and harassing people, do we? Because I don't. I don't know. Um, I sure hope not, but that's not what good people do. So if you guys are thinking about doing that, please don't. Because nobody deserves to be harassed just because they're breaking up with somebody or because they did, and then it also falls into where it becomes like illegal and criminal activities when, again, you're paying somebody to harass and stalk and terrorize someone else, and we've seen a pattern of that and a history of that. So, um, it's nothing good is going to come of that. And then that's why we kind of think ill of the flying monkey socks because they're acting like flying monkeys, right? Um, they're doing dirty deeds for someone else, indiscriminately because those women didn't deserve that. You never know. They could be just as heartbroken as Chris was, or, they could have, everybody feels sad when you're breaking up. I mean, some people are happy because, whatever, but a lot of times it's very hurtful time in people's lives. Um, Excuse me. And Jen says they did clean it before they called LE, and KP and CP's mom was in there scrubbing it down, but they missed something and it needs to be luminoled. Yeah, I'm still up in the air because they use the Faro cameras outside, that technology. I'm still kind of up in the air as to whether they luminoled or not, because I mean, we haven't had confirmation. I mean, Chris and Katie said they didn't, but that could just be them saying it. That's what's really hard too. It's almost like you got to make a spreadsheet, like what they said and then what could be the truth, right? Because we can't believe everything they're saying. And then Chris was also saying things like, well, law enforcement told me not to tell about that. But then we hear from Brandon Carter no, we can't give legal advice. We don't do that, so it's still up in the air for me, because that was one thing that I almost felt like I might need to apologize to law enforcement for, that maybe they did luminol in the house, especially if they don't think that he left the house, if that makes sense. Like, if they think he never left, then I would think they would be treating it like a crime scene, a crime scene, right? Which they did the Pharaoh technology, where they can now look back through the virtual reality, glasses, and be back in the scene, and I don't know if you guys have ever done virtual reality, but it's like being in a different place, it's like it's taking you to whatever scene it is. Um, so, but I, I wish they would kind of come out and tell us maybe more details about what they've done, because we know they've searched like outside and things like that. I think that might help with the public perception a little bit, but then again, I don't know. And maybe, and to be quite honest, maybe they don't want to put a whole lot of you know, emphasis on the feet. Maybe they're trying to keep some of the heat off of them, so that way they can work the case, because if they're feeling pressure, then they might be doing something different, and they might be hiding things. But if they think they're in the clear, and, they got away with something, their actions are going to be different than if they're frantic and worried and sweating and they're going to be panicking, right? And doing things behind the scenes. So it's again, just really a delicate situation. Tony says, our God is great. Everyone that had something to do or know will have their day. I believe that, Tony. And believe me, I'd rather have Ellie take me than God. Yeah, yeah. Sort me out. Exactly, exactly. Money will mean nothing where God's punishment served. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And I think it just, that's where the patience comes in. And like I said, believe me, I have to remind myself of that. You know what I mean? And just remember every day, just be patient. You can't, sometimes good things happen to those who wait, things like that. These are some of my positive affirmations I'm trying to tell myself. um Don B says, did y'all hear that TBI is so backlogged on blood work for DUIs and R kits, not enough staffing? I mean, I'll tell you, Don, and I have heard that, and I also know that it's, something that is an issue like across the board, and I don't know what we can do to help that situation, because you would think like there wouldn't be a backlog, right? Like that they would get that information and, okay, no, this is ruled out, here and everything. And it's so disheartening to know that, because it just makes you wonder, those results take a while to get back too. It's kind of like a tox screen and stuff like that. The resources, we need more resources. Like Don B says, more staffing. It's so tough, because, it's just like any of us, we would want that done right away, right? If it happened to us, our family members, our friends, things like that. Um, that's just so unfortunate. That's so unfortunate. I was surprised to hear about that in other places as well. Um, that's true, Jen. There's no perfect people. So there will be no perfect unaliving. And there's no perfect, red rum. There just isn't. There's always something. Just even if it's the tiniest little thing, really, 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 really. Oh, great, Bubbly Beth. Thank you so much for hitting that like. She says Justin gave the photos to TBI and FBI of Chris's arms and hands. See, that's great. That is so great. You know, I definitely saw what everybody was seeing. Well, I mean, and I have them, the circled ones up there. You can't really see, obviously, because he's kind of on the little map and stuff. But thanks, Bubbly Beth, for letting us know that, because I didn't know that. So that's great news. And Mammon says, Don B, I met a neighbor of mine that's one of those those false arrests. What a mess. And I went down a rabbit hole looking it all up. Yeah, there was a lot of those. There was a lot of those. And the scary part is like the one guy that I saw, Mom, and he had like his CDL or something. Like his livelihood could have been in jeopardy. Oh, it's just too bad. I think it would be so cool, Don B, yeah, to do the crime, yeah, work in the crime lab. I'm surprised there's not more people out there that, don't want to do that, because it's so interesting. But I'm guessing it's just all the schooling and stuff. But yeah, I would like to even be a fly in the wall in there, just to see how it works. And because we kind of get an idea, we'll see like the scenes where they have like all of the different like tubes and everything, and they're like taking the data out and putting it in the slides, and looking at it in the microscope. And yeah, really scientific. It's so interesting. He's probably going to discuss Sebastian's case at the conference. I'm super bent on losing him in this horrible interruption. How could it really happen? Or how can it happen, really? I wish they would come out and do a presser. Just maybe let us know, kind of, I don't know. Then again, I don't want to try to name off certain things, because I could be, there could be a reason, a good reason why they're not. And Carrie Starr says, but why would you censor words and say that if you didn't know for sure he is even missing yet? Well, that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it was more, I'm guessing that maybe Katie wanted to, how do I put this? I think maybe she was seeing comments about her not being as panicked as she should have been, and I kind of tried to avoid that kind of stuff at first. But the more interviews we kind of saw, I was like, oh gosh, this is really disingenuous and inauthentic, in my opinion, right? Katie's words. But then by the time she got interviewed by Olivia, it just seemed like, again, I have to go back to what Yeda said, because it makes the most sense to me. I think she was feigning. Oh gosh, yeah. I think she was feigning urgency, frustration, and things like that, so that way people maybe get off her back or something like that. So yeah, but that is a really good point, though. If she didn't know for sure he was missing yet, that's going to an extreme. I agree. There was one Tony Fire. Seth created a petition for the FBI to get involved, and that was in the beginning of the case. He was, I mean, and this is another, reason why I believe that Seth had no involvement, because you're not going to call in the FBI if you had involvement. You know what I mean? Like, that's the last people you want on the case. So that's where my mind goes. But there is one, and actually, I'll even link it. I think it's still an active one, but it's on change.org, Tony, and you can go on there and sign it, that way. Because I thought, and here, I'm glad you said that, because here I was thinking everybody kind of knew about that. So thank you, because I'll link it in tonight's live. I'm pretty sure it's still active, active link. Um, I did the reels, Sasha, the one where Katie says about Naruto. Yes, because I had to go look up Naruto. And I found him in an emoji and I put it in there. Not an emoji, a GIF. And but I did see that one. And she was wearing the shirt that they had made. Um, yeah, Don B says, momming it up. Sad that some officers are so bad. Yeah, and it just makes the good ones look, bad too. Just like the one guy, it was an officer that was caught for DUI, right? And instead of him just like, getting in trouble and, going to court and stuff like that, he like beat up the deputy because he was higher ranking, and it was a very unfortunate situation, and but we're all human, but we just kind of expect more, right? With great power comes great responsibility, but um you know it could have been Bubbly Beth. Bubbly Beth says, in my opinion, the hand video was a cover up for bruises, bite marks, and scratches. And I always thought, because it says Caitlin Miller posted on her Facebook that the parents were too emotional to do an on-camera interview, but we didn't hear any sniffling, or they didn't break their contact for anybody to wipe a tear or anything. Like, they just kind of stayed. I think it was like this or something. Was it? No, it was like that. But either way, and then you saw Katie kind of stroking Chris's arm the whole time. They didn't show any emotion. So if you're too emotional, you would expect to have, like, emotion in there, but hearing it, not seeing it, kind of a thing. But that is another good point. Maybe that's why they didn't break and Katie was doing the stroking, was so that way, they were covering something up, that way nobody saw it. So that's a great point. Hey, Sammy, good to see you. And Sammy says, it was her first on-camera interview, I think, and I think she took a lot of internet feedback. Yeah, I do too. I think they were taking internet feedback from the beginning too, because also, like, it took them 8 days to get on Duchess. 7 days to get on Duchess. 8th day they did a Holly Thompson interview, First TV, right? And then, but see, that was another thing that bothered me about the Duchess interview, is like Katie sounded like she was fake crying, right? And if she wasn't, I'm sorry, but I really, from my perspective, she was. You heard, stuff like that, but it wasn't genuine. You also heard, when he asked to go to his dad's house, we just let him, and he just goes, like stuff like that. Like, if you guys didn't see, if you didn't see me, you would still, I think, know that I was faking it, right? If I was to turn my camera and do that same thing, you guys would be like, oh, good Lord, this woman, I mean, I'd expect you to. That's horrible acting, in my opinion. And it's just odd for a mama. I don't know. It's weird. Hey, Lori. Lori says, when she said drove, not ran, didn't she say like a swear or something under her breath after that? Ooh, I don't know. I'd have to go back and listen to it. See, and that's another problem that, when we were talking about this last night too, many people recount their interactions with Katie, like the teachers, saying that she's not that quiet, right? But then these interviews, it's so hard to hear her that it's like, some of the interviews, I could probably turn Katie up at full volume, save the video, go back in there, put her up at full volume, and you still can't understand what she's saying, because she does talk under her breath frequently. Also, she doesn't talk very loud. And so even sometimes when she would start to say something in an interview, people wouldn't even hear her talking and they'd just talk over her. And it was like, dang it, she was about to say something. You know what I mean? And it was frustrating because it was like, would you let her talk? Like, ask her one question. That's one frustration I had. Like with Duchess, when she was asking questions, she wasn't allowing Katie to answer. It was like compound questions. So how can you get, a solid answer, or, just let her talk now. So, and again, it's hard to interview. It's hard to be on here, and Duchess has more people than I do, right? And so I'm not saying that at all. But it's hard, Lori. It's hard to catch what Katie's saying sometimes. And we know that she's strong, right? We know that she's a Navy person. We know that she fought in the Navy. So Katie has a voice, and that's what's frustrating because I know she does. I just know it. I don't ever underestimate her. I really don't. Her intelligence, I don't, at first I kind of wondered, but I think that was an act. Most definitely, I think it was an act. I think she's extremely intelligent. She would have to be, to do the type of work that she's done, and in the military, they give you a test, to see, where you're at intellectually, and then also to see where your strengths and weaknesses are. And so, she would have to be, for them, in order for them to put her in the particular field that they allowed her to be in, and where they thought she was the best fit, she would have had to have proven that that's, her capability in that role, for lack of a better way to say it. But Katie is super smart. Katie is super capable. Um, I think her, this is horrible. I think her intelligence blows Chris out of the water. Okay, let's just put it that way. And I'm not saying he's stupid either, because, but in the same way, I believe that I never underestimate Katie. I never will. And see, Gilgo Beach case, once fresh trained eyes got on the case, it got solved. True, Tony. That is a very valid statement. Thank you for reminding us of that too. And it just does take that. Sometimes it's like, well, and again, you could just be racking your brain, right? And then also, like, just, it reminds me of proofreading stuff. That's why, like, when you're in school, you'll proofread your work and then you'll pass it to your partner over there. They'll or excuse me, the person sitting next to you, they'll proofread it. And I even had a teacher that would have us pass it over one more time, right? And then you get it back and then you reread it. It's like reading it again for the first time. And okay, oh yeah, and I'm catching all of them, and you might catch one more mistake. But mistakes are, especially when you're reading a 500-page document or going over, 700 pages of data, it gets daunting and your brain starts going, mush. That's kind of how I was after trying to go through the RICO. I was like, yesterday, I probably didn't have any business being unalive. I mean, it was like, get this woman off of here. Like the cane at the night at the Apollo. I need somebody to grab me off stage when I do that. But yes, thank you, Carrie. Carrie says, yes, Tony, fire anyone can petition. Seth already did, and that early on we all signed it. But if Sumner County Sheriff doesn't let that in, they can't just come in. Yeah, unfortunately, that is the truth. But I think it is still a good it's still a good thing, for our voices to be heard. It's just something that we can do, to let the powers that be know. It's just like Crystal's petitions, that her sister has started for her case. Super important, right? Reopen the case. That one is very important. The petition that she's trying to get, to where you have to send human remains in a respectful way through the mail. And the reason why she started that petition is because her sister's remains were not respectfully sent by her husband, Tony. No offense, Tony. We're talking about, our least favorite character, one of our least favorite characters, Tony Jones. And Forrest says, yeah, the one where Chris says everything is on the table, and on the table was a crane and pictures of Sebastian. Also the one where KP said if Sebastian gets real upset, he growls. Oh gosh, Forrest. That bothered me. And then Chris laughed at it. Well, when I get mad, I growl too. Like, I'm sorry, that's just a way of you letting out your frustration, right? I mean, you could also, if you're really, really mad, go scream into a pillow. Those are healthy ways of getting aggression out. But I will say too that Seth turned around and said, you know what? That was things that he was doing when he was little. He doesn't do that anymore. He handles himself in a different way now. And he was kind of, it seemed, in my opinion, that he was kind of like a little annoyed by that, and he corrected it. And it's not funny. And see, when somebody finds it funny that someone else is frustrated, I always pause at that and I think, how come you like upsetting other people? What is it? Like, because you shouldn't. If somebody's upset, you should be like, okay, well, they're upset. It's certainly not funny, especially when you feel like an adult is like teasing a child about that. Not that, and I know Sebastian was a teenager, but I don't know. It always causes me to pause. You're right, though. That was the same exact interview. And all of that stuff happened. It was a very interesting interview. And the funny thing is I'm pretty sure the interview was only like 25 minutes, maybe 20 minutes long. And I mean, a bunch of information. Another interview that I really like to reference is Smiley Stories, because there was a lot of information in there too. And Chris was kind of like giving out a lot of I'll back up. One major difference I saw when we're looking at the Duchess interview versus Smiley interview, anytime Chris would be on Duchess, he would be just this like Eddie Haskell, right? Yeah, he was doing the whole, let me help you out, let me make it crystal clear. He was doing that. He was being asshole-ish. But he was completely different on Smiley, right? He comes on there, he's clapping, he's like, let me tell you, like, totally different, like night and day characters. So I think that's always interesting to kind of compare the way that he was the way that he was acting on Duchess and then the way that he was acting on Smiley's, because I mean, let's be honest, it was like two different people, right? Jekyll and Hyde. You had somebody who was acting, semi-normal, maybe annoyed, then you kind of say, well, his stepson's missing, of course he's annoyed, of course he's mad, he's frustrated. But then you see him on Smiley and you're like, whoa, wait a minute, this guy is not who he says he is. And then also, he acts on his very best behavior when he's on Holly Thompson and when he's on with Caitlin Miller, and then Nancy Grace, they both looked like they'd seen a ghost. Like, it was very strange. And I don't know if that's going to be, I don't know which version we're ever going to get. You know what I mean? It's just, and Katie did kind of a progression with her demeanor as well. All important things to look at, I think. And Lil Miss Sharon says the dog would have got Sebastian scent on the driveway, right? If he took the bin out. Yes, I believe so. Absolutely. Because it would have been a fresh scent, right? Even with his shoes on. Now, I know that Katie said, sometime in one of the interviews, Katie said, sometimes Sebastian does leave the house. She goes, even though I know that Seth said that he doesn't ever leave the house without shoes, there are times where he takes the trash out and he wears just his socks. And I say, dude, you have to wear, or excuse me, dude, you have to wear shoes, right? You got to put your shoes on. Don't just go walking out, in your socks. So let's just say that, he was wearing shoes or he was wearing socks more so, you would have a stronger scent wearing socks. Um, his shoes, you would definitely have a fresh scent trail. So, because think about it, it would have been after 7 when they got back to the house. So say 7:30 he took the bin out, 7:15, something like that. Then, by the time it's morning and the next day, that scent is still going to be there, but it didn't seem to leave the area. I heard a couple of different variations. Chris said it tracked to the retention pond. Again, very, very cloudy. We've never really gotten a straight answer because LE again, and then LE says no scent. They're telling the news. So the first week, and I did news clips comparisons for the first week. The police were saying there were no scent. They were reporting it back to local news outlets and things like that there was no scent. Um, it's very cloud. And see, that's part of the frustration, little Miss Sharon, so I'm glad that you said that. Because that's important. Well, and Sasha, I think they might have some physical. I think they might have some. We don't know. We just don't know. And Craddock is not going to let us know. I do want to be realistic. I don't think that he's going to allow for that. I think he's trying to keep it close. Yeah, a fresh set of eyes is good. Special trained agents and missing persons can't hurt anything. That's so true, Carrie. And Mammon says, Tony Fire, if Seth feels we need to, I would try. But right now it seems it's best to give them a chance. I know it's tough, but it's a year. But I'm sure Seth will tell us if change is needed. Yeah, and I'm gonna make sure that I share. So keep an eye out too, guys. Definitely go over to Seth's channel, subscribe, please, show love over there. And then also go to my community tab. Always check that because I do put information up there. Sometimes it'll be a story that I'm really interested in, like when Audrey's law, little Audrey Cunningham, her law is coming out. They're working on it to make it so SOs they have to register, right? Please, guys, please, please, please pray for that. But I'll post stuff like that, and we'll talk about Audrey here. We need to. It's important, and we did a little bit last night. But just please always check my community tab because I put things up over there too, just kind of on the fly, and I always share good little, whether it's from Smiley, whether it's from Justin, whether it's from Seth. I'm going to make sure I get everything over there and share it too, so it'll all be there. But I also want to make sure that I kind of keep a good update on it too. And there's going to be a lot of different things coming up too. That we can do to be proactive and to help. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that, and always go over and show Seth support, please. Pretty please. I know. No, Tony, our president, well, it works a little different. Because here we use like checks and balances, so our president isn't like the only one that makes decisions. I know sometimes I wish it was a little different, and then other times I'm grateful that it's not. But I wish it was that easy, because I think Trump would if he could. I really do. I think Trump is very much for the people. I do. Unjustice Project says KP uses situational truth. She's a chameleon, in my opinion. I agree with that. Unjustice Project, I agree with Katie's chameleon-like personality, and it's part of the dark triad. It's a very toxic type of personality. We all mirror people in a way. It's one thing that you're kind of taught in sales, right? Is to kind of mirror match somebody. So if you're talking with them on the phone, you might, mirror some of the things, or, and it's just kind of a way to be relatable. But we see it on another level with the chameleon like behavior. So I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you so much, because it, it's absolutely a toxic. It's a red flag that you can look for in people, and when you can recognize it, it's like, ooh, be careful of that person, because it's a manipulation tactic. And again, it's used in sales as a tactic, right? But it's more so to be relatable, to build rapport. It's not to manipulate into a bad situation, right? But when people do that in their everyday lives, it's to manipulate, so then that way they think, oh, I got this person. Duper's delight, right? Okay, this person's on my side. They don't think they don't think anything of me, they're unsuspecting, they think I'm just like them, but I'm really not. It's Thank you, Unjustice Project. I mean, that is such a great point. Um, Lori says Arizona is bad too. Yeah, Missouri is too, with the backlog of our, grape kits and stuff. Um, Ooh, it's bad. And see, it's something like that's not law enforcement's fault though. You know what I mean? They're just doing their job, and so I don't blame them. And also, it's like it comes down to money. It really does. And or excuse me, Mama and Up says, Sasha, I feel it's impossible that they're just not led on this case, but there's a bigger, wider thing to come, or excuse me, to some surrounding it all, possibly. I pray anyway. Yeah, me too, Mom, and me too. Well, see, that's a positive thing, Sasha, and I believe in making those calls and things like that. And you guys are going to see, that's what Seth was talking about as well. He's going to give us some resources to keep us busy, and I think that is so smart. That's what one thing that I was really revved up about, was that, giving us something positive, because especially when you call and write letters and things, those things are time consuming, but they're going in a positive direction, which we need to do that. Oh yeah, Don B says, Sasha says, or excuse me, Don B says, the Sasha TBI got a huge black eye with the Holly Bobo case, and nobody wants to work there. See, oh, that's so terrible. I remember you talking about that too, Don, on your channel, and I was really, I was interested. I was really interested in that, because I didn't know that. Poor Holly Bobo, and and you brought a lot of awareness to her case, because like I said, I wasn't aware of her case until you were talking about her. Um, that's just too bad. And that's what's horrible about getting that bad reputation, because then you don't get as much support. Um, Thank you. Thanks, Tony. I appreciate all you guys. People are still divided on Brian Kohlberger too. I know. I have not followed the new info in that case. Idaho 4 is a very that's a case that's very very many twists and turns, kind of something that we weren't expecting. I'd like to kind of get caught up with it, But I noticed that too, Carrie Star, that people are still divided on Brian Kohlberger too. That guy creeps me out so bad. And I hope that I'm not wrong about him, but I am interested to kind of understand more, you know? Um, don't worry, Sasha, that stuff happens to me all the time. I'll be like, I wasn't done typing, and then it just sends it. I'm like, oh, dang. Um, Mammon says, Tony Fire, I mean, why not? We can try. With God, all things are possible, right? That's right, Mammon. Thank you. And that's the spirit to keep up. I really believe that's the spirit to keep, you know, especially when we don't have control over it. You know, that's the best thing we can do is keep praying, keep the faith, keep doing things that are positive, right? That will keep moving things forward. Don't stick in the past as much, but keep moving forward. Not to say that it's not okay to, or, you know, not to say it's not a bad idea to analyze things, but keep moving forward. Oh no, TBI. I know the typo. I know, Sasha. I know. Well, and that's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's like, come on, guys, get it together. Um, we can't. Jen says, why can't they open the CPS cases in connection with the disappearing? You know, I think that that's going to be. I think that that will be added if. And you know, I have to say if, but you guys know how I feel. I do believe that that's going to be part of it, but I don't think that they want to charge that yet. And I think it'll come out in the trial. I really do. You know, if it's who we're thinking it possibly could be, that stuff will come out in the trial. You know, I'm hoping. Right, yeah, you can have the Sasha. She says, I'm only allowed to have those typos. I'm just an online sleuth. I know, exactly, exactly. Well, we do have to remember that LE is, you know, they are human. They are human beings just like us, but that's cute. Maman says, Don B, the DUI stuff and some other things make me wonder if there's an outside investigation, possibly because some gained a lot of attention. It appears anyway. That's a good point, Maman. That is a really good point. And there's been, you know, that's one thing I will say that, you know, Tennessee is willing to, Don, is willing to, you know, the media is to kind of expose some of these things because that's how we know that what's going on. So I am grateful for that, you know. And Carrie says, yes, Mom, and FBI has to be involved in some way to offer the reward. Exactly, Carrie. And that came out at 6 months. You know, that came out at the 6-month mark. So they've been, and they were involved in the beginning as well, you know. You know, I think he's probably just going around, Sasha. I don't know that he is still in. And Sammy says, important to remember that although everyone wants to know motive does not mean, motive does not have to be proven in court. Very true, Sammy. Thank you. I love when Sammy's here because she always says the best comments too. You know, you're so right. Always remember that motive doesn't have to be proven in court. So that's not as important as other aspects or other evidence in the case. Thank you, Sammy. That's so true. Connie says, Sasha, he was. Yeah, he was. Yeah, I think I haven't saw him, you know, post anything in a little bit. Always stay positive. Thank you, Forrest. And it's hard. And, you know, that's the thing, too. We can uplift each other. You know, there's days when maybe I might not be as excited, or, you know, I might be down in the dumps and you guys might send me something funny, or you guys might send me a song like Forrest said, the song that I shared today. And, you know, it's just a way to uplift each other. You know what I mean? Because, and we can all use that and help each other kind of in a positive manner. And then also, help each other with ideas and different things like that, can spark our interest and get us excited again. Um, so even though, I know frustration too, but sometimes that's a good thing too. I'm not saying it's not. Yeah, Jen, a lot of people say that. A lot of people think that Katie had a burner. I definitely think burners were involved, and I saw the light flicker in the Texas Roadhouse, Texas Roadhouse footage. Um, and at first I didn't see it. If it wasn't for, viewers and people in the comments, I wouldn't have saw it right away. But people are like, "Did you see that flicker?" And I'm like, "I don't know if she's messed with anything or if that's her napkin in her lap." And people are like, "No, look at it again." And so I did. And I'm like, "Oh wow, yeah, you're right." Um, I agree, Forrest. I do. Tony Fire says plenty of motive to suspect CP. He has a court hearing and another CPS report happened. Lost his cool and thought believe that we will all believe that he was a runaway. They never thought the nation will fight for this boy. I agree, Tony, and that's why I couldn't help but laugh in that one video where he said, I looked up again and he says, "Oh, we didn't think it would get this far." It's like, "No, you didn't, did you? You weren't banking on that, were you?" And I can't help but kind of chuckle at that because and also it's kind of like, sitting back in awe of how much love and care Sebastian has, and I think that's something that's, something to be proud of. I really do. And I think it's something that we should keep up too, is, let them know, hey, this isn't going to go away. It could be a year, it could be 2 years, but hopefully it doesn't go that long. But, just let them know we're not stopping, we're not stopping. No, they don't, Don B. Good point. Detectives don't sit and take calls all day. They don't. And they're not too excited to get back to people either, like their focus is someplace else, that is such a great point, And then there's an initiative too, don't forget to, do the green light bulbs and different things that we can all do that too to make things, more unified and show solidarity, show our love for Sebastian, things like that can make us feel good inside too. And it's important. And Carrie Star says a lot of the tips and people don't always get replies from LE. That's right, or TBI, but they're very busy. Most likely only contact people if they need more information from them, I assume. I'm assuming the same thing, Carrie, and I appreciate your comment because I think that's important to keep in mind too. That maybe and I can't even say maybe. I think they are considering every bit of information, any tips that come in, but they just don't have the time or, again, the manpower, the staffing, as Don was saying earlier, to facilitate calling back every single person and saying, "Hello, Mrs. Smith, thank you so much for your, tip. We received it." They're not going to do that because there's not enough hours in the day. And I would rather them focusing their efforts on finding Sebastian than getting back to me or anybody else for that matter, unless it's Seth or Katie, because that's their son. Um, you know, oh, Rogue, Michael Monkey Vaughn. For Michael Vaughn's case, it took 5 years, and just the beginning of this month, the DA in Fruitland, Idaho, is just now finally going forth with charges. Amen, Rogue. And, it just takes so long. And we're going to talk about Michael here too. He's definitely in the works with what we're going to be talking about very, very soon here. So I've been thinking about Michael. Thank you for bringing him up tonight, Rogue. I really appreciate that. He's just a little sweetie pie too. Thank you. Thank you, little Miss Sharon. An officer, worst enemy is a bad cop working next to him. Jen, absolutely. That's why I love, and you guys probably know Grady Judd. He's one of my ordinary heroes that I love, because he is not afraid. He is not afraid to put one of his officers up and be like, this is the guy we're looking for today, or this is the guy we arrested. He's over in the county jail eating peanut butter and jelly. He's so funny, but he's also very likable, but then he wants to catch those bad guys. He's always catching the SCX rings, always, always, always. And he's really good at it. And it's shocking who he catches, right? Like people coming from other states, right, to do these nasty things. People who work at Disney, like Steven Stearns, like, ooh, I mean, it's enough to, be really chilling. But when it comes to like law enforcement officers that are involved in that activity, he is not playing with those ones. And I think that they get it worse than anybody, because he's disappointed, right? He's like, hey, you're supposed to be an officer of the law. You're supposed to have these ethics, right? Follow the code of ethics. And when they don't, oh man, I just, I would love for Grady to go to help Craddock. I really would. He'd be my first pick if he could say, all right, Lady Freedom, who would you pick to work with Craddock? I'd say Sheriff Grady Judd. Send him there. Please, we have a still photo of him holding what looks like a body or for sticking out wrapped in a blanket. It's way too much. I know, Rogue. I know. That still bothers me. I haven't abandoned that either. And I won't, because that's where my opinion differs from Craddock's, and that's okay. I'm not saying I'm right and he's wrong at all. I am just saying that, in my opinion, I think the 3 a.m. lights is the key, right? I mean, if you guys were watching my live, I think it was like maybe 4 days ago now, I showed the mob crew, I think it was it was the second one, the second video where he's showing what's going on with the lights and things like that and his theory. I am very much aligned with what he's talking about. I really am. So for me to agree there, I have to disagree with what Craddock is saying, as in, we don't have evidence that he walked out of the house. Well, I think that the 3 a.m. flashlight, that he left the home, that he ever left the home. To me, the 3 a.m. lights video is our proof or evidence. But, I also know that Craddock was very hesitant to speak about that footage, and he did. And he said that it's going into Sebastian's file. He's not going to rule it out, but at this point, it's not relevant, but it may be later. I mean, that's what makes it hard, right? That's where we're like, that's not confusing or anything. Okay. Backing into the bushes like Homer Simpson. They do. Yeah, Carrie, they do. And that's where patience comes in. And I know it's hard. I know it is. She does talk with the forest, in my opinion. Yeah, we see, back and forth with the fork and the head kind of, so you can see those things. I just wish we had like her facial features. Oh gosh, that would have been a good one, to have, because then we can really identify more. Oh, you're good. You're good, Maman. You're always good. Basically, what they need is a confession. Have fun on those from them shaking my head. Yeah, I mean, but there can be enough evidence to not have a confession. So I'm banking on that. I really am. I'm hoping that something will break the case, right? And then also with this new reward, there's more money on the table. So that is always going to produce better results than if there was nothing there, or only a couple of $1,000, right? But we're almost up to $1 million. And if that doesn't bring people out of the woodwork, I don't know. I'm really hoping that it does. Yeah, very tired, anxious, uncomfortable, and hungry. Yeah, I agree, Sasha. I know, Sasha. Not one smile from our boy, yet he's always smiling. Something is not right. He just always is smiling. And then, Seth saying, he's like the sun coming through the clouds, if you see him, you'll be smiling all the time, and that is exactly Sebastian's energy, in my opinion, and it was odd to see him, not even crack a smile once. Well, he smiled at the wait staff. He was very polite, and um, in my opinion, the way that Katie treated the wait staff was a little bit dismissive. When Sebastian, when the wait staff would come up, Sebastian, was polite, smiled at them, yeah, I don't know. Hey, Rocco, good to see you. Rocco says Seth or Tony said criminal attorney. Oh, thank you, Rocco. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. So yeah, there's a little bit of confirmation there, Um, and honestly, I think that would be the one that they would need to have, And like I said again, guys, this is the right that we have in the United States, right? So we can't even fault people for that, or for excuse me, for lawyering up, or for pleading the fifth, right? It's like we're allowed to do that. That is within our constitutional rights. So we can't fault anybody for that. Of course, it looks suspicious to get a lawyer, especially a criminal lawyer, but that would be the one that you would get. But I don't fault anybody for doing that, because I said it before myself, like, I probably would have an attorney right away, no matter, no matter if I had time clock receipts or anything like that, because you just never know. Especially dealing with people like the Proud Feet. Like, if I was having to deal with them, I would be like, nope, I'm getting myself a lawyer, whatever it costs. I know that it's not that easy all the time, but yeah, just in case they tried to smear you. And we know that's happened all across the board. I think the attorney she has is a family friend. You could be right, Little Red. Yeah, I could see that completely. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's history repeating itself, Aw, thank you, little Miss Sharon. Thank you. Oh, good. I'm trying to get to 200. That's my new goal, guys. If we can't, I'll try to do it like 150, but I'm still gonna try to do it. Because I know I love doing our little party. Um, yeah, an attorney can practice all types of law. Very true, very true. They may have a specialty or a forte, but you learn when you pass the bar exam. It's not like you go and pass a bar exam for family law specifically, or for criminal law. For you can change your forte. Of course, many of them just specialize, so that way they can be like, this is my track record, I've won this many cases versus lost this many cases, that sort of thing. Because they're going to be selling themselves to their client, and things like that, especially a higher profile person. If you're looking for a defense attorney, you want somebody who's won, a bunch of times. And um, that's just kind of part of it. But, if they could get a confession, I don't know. I could just see both of them shutting down. And I think, like we were talking about Nancy Grace and how her interview maybe wasn't as aggressive as some of us are probably used to her being. But I think that was another reason why, is because she didn't want them shutting down. Because the minute that they shut down and they didn't want to talk, then the interview's over. So you kind of almost have to approach it differently. And she might have been Adam Forever 21. She might have been, hurrying him along to eat. I will say that I've heard that, Sebastian looked hungry. In my opinion, he did look hungry. He looked hungry, and he looked like he was eating fast. But see, even during that conversation, I don't know that he was still eating, was he? Maybe he was. I'm trying to, I'd have to look back. Invite them for lunch. Oh gosh. It'd be nice to have some sort of a decoy to talk to them. And Carrie says, Sasha, don't worry. YouTuber got still shots of them and blew them up to close-up pics, and Ellie has requested, close-up pics, and Ellie requested footage from several YouTubers, and most YouTubers send in everything they find too. Exactly. Yes, I do. I will send it in, even if they're, even if I know that they probably don't, want to see it, but it's a tip, nonetheless. I think they still do. I think, sharing the frustration is different. Possibly Jen after being on John Walsh's Most Wanted. Yeah, I think FBI will step in. Well, and it just opens the door to many other people, bringing awareness to many other people, and then also it could put some pressure on, if the guilty parties are on the show, it could put some pressure on it to where John could make a decision to, there's no doubt in my mind that he has ties, that can be of assistance, and I think he would be a very good judge of character. I really do, because he's lived it, And Lori says, I've heard many people say and saw many comments that they don't get calls back, but who knows for real? I mean, honestly, Lori, I just don't even expect a call back. Like, I give all the information I possibly can to where I don't even think they need any more. They're not going to ask me questions. They're just going to look at the evidence. So I know it's kind of, some people just want attention, though. Honestly, too, guys, we also have to look at the motivation. Some people just want that attention. Law enforcement called me, and it's like, okay, good for you. Hopefully they didn't take too much time with you because we need Sebastian found, so that's always, I try to consider that too, Oh, hey, Joyce. Good to see you, hon. Hey, girl, it's me, Joyce, on the other YouTube account. You rock. Everyone is going on other cases, but as soon as it hits America's Most Wanted, it's worldwide. Absolutely. And I think it's such a positive thing, And also, like I said, I'm glad that Chris and Katie did the interview. It's important. They were the last ones with Sebastian, or excuse me, Katie was. So absolutely, Joyce. Yeah, thank you. Aw. Yeah, Carrie says, yes, one creator got great close-ups of them, and I know she sent all the info in. That's amazing. Yeah, that's great. Hey, Mama Sam. Mama Sam says, I would like to know if the guy who was staying at the same RV park as CP said CP was there when he came back from the bar. Did he physically see him, or did he see the truck and assume CP was there? I'm assuming that he just saw his truck, because I don't think Chris was like sitting outside in a campfire at night or anything like that. I'm thinking, oh, thank you. Am I staticky, guys? I think I might just have my wires crossed a little bit. Okay, I hope that's better. But I'm thinking it was just his truck, because that guy came back pretty late, and I would think that Chris would have been, well, according to him, he was still on the phone with Katie, but I don't think he would have been outside. Unless, because it wasn't like a nice, like, spring, summer night. It was still, winter. Well, the end of winter, Oh, dang. Okay. Thank you. All right. Hold on 1 second, guys. Give me 1 sec. Okay, sorry. I had to undo my mic and see. Is that better? I hope it's better. Chris. I believe they will, Joyce. I believe the secrets will come out. I really do. CP even mentioned they were being watched at one time. I mean, I do remember that, and I didn't know if it was like YouTubers or if it was law enforcement. I couldn't tell like who exactly was watching him, or if who was just kind of, talking about the YouTubers like, oh yeah, they're watching. They're I know you guys are watching me, or trying to call the YouTubers out. But Forrest says, thank you, lady, for keeping the spotlight on Sebastian. God bless you and your followers. Aw, thank you, Forrest. Thank you so much. Yeah, he doesn't, Joyce. John Walsh doesn't take any crap. Yeah, he doesn't. So when it's out there, they get FBI involved. And this could be a very good, very, very good thing, I believe. I believe it is. I really do. Lil Redo, I know, and I understand that when you have dogs, especially two dogs, it gets a lot. And Bubbly Beth says when the trial comes, they'll be watching a lot of podcasts. YouTube has given them a lot of information, and anything CP and KP has did or said, the jury will see what they said, and they can't deny it. That is so true, Bubbly Beth. That is so true. And I think a lot of that has to do, like, I think them not going on camera has a lot to do with that right there, because they're trying to say that, the little emoji like that I have here, like this, that wasn't Chris, but then it's a picture of Chris with his daughter, and it's his voice, so I agree. I think it's going to be good evidence. I really do. Oh, I hope so too. I hope so too. Seth did, yes, thank you, Cassie Roku, for reminding me. So Seth gave info on the green hoodie, says that, he was given body cam footage, or excuse me, not given it, but he saw body cam footage of them actually interviewing Green Hoodie, and that they do not believe that Green Hoodie is involved at this time. And so really good information there, Hey, Limelight Girl. She says, okay, so let's really think about the cleanup, right? It said that they had their home professionally cleaned shortly after Sebastian went missing. I did hear that. And that is, it's cause for pause. It is weird. It is, it's worrisome. True. That is so true, Limelight Girl. What did they see? How did they act? Did they get any weird vibes, etc.? Yeah, or if there was anything like weird that they cleaned up, right? Like, because when you do cleaning and stuff, you kind of get a good idea of what is what, especially because you don't want to be like touching anything that is hazardous or biohazard stuff. So wow, that's really smart. Thanks, Lima Girl. That makes sense to me too. um, I believe so. Oh, okay, I see. Oh, maybe Mama. Oh, Cassie, I didn't see it. Mama, did you see uh, BHB today on Katie's mom thoughts? Ooh, I did not see. I did not watch BHB today. I need to though. I'm behind. The baby had unexpected discovery surgery Wednesday. Yes, pray for Mom and guys and her little baby. He had 2 surgeries. I think BHB's message today was valid. Okay, Forrest, I'll have to go look, guys. Hey, Blessed, good to see you, sweetheart. Aw. No, I did not, Cassie. I need to go watch Bullhorn. Did you see Bullhorn Betty live today on Katie's mom? She was around more children and screenshot of Katie on the Zoom. At Katie's mom's wedding, Sebastian in the back. Oh. I did not. I did not. Oh, Cassie. That's terrible. That is terrible, terrible, terrible. We know they searched the landfill, Rocco. Sure, they sure do. Could have been Tony. See, that's my worry. If there wasn't any, blood, then maybe he was drug carried out. Yeah. She, she got married. When did Yadis say they got married, Bubbly Beth? It was like back in 2017, I'm guessing. 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3. Yeah, it was some time back. You guys just caught me counting on my hands. I'm bad at math. Bubbly Beth, I think it was 2020. Okay. Oh, that's right, Mom, and thank you. I was like, it couldn't have been that long ago, but I thought it might have been because they were still. No, wait, Seth didn't go to that one. Okay, so maybe it was. Oh, screenshot of Zoom. Oh my goodness. Commitment wedding in 2020. Thanks, Cassie. Thank you. I don't know why I thought 2017. Lori says, I remember someone saying that they had someone come in and clean also, and Ellie said it was like hospital clean. Oh, that's so frustrating. So frustrating. Aw, thanks, Mom. And a photo of Katie's mom also sitting at dinner with a child. Oh, God. I think at a certain point you almost got to be like, I'm sorry, but you're not allowed to come because there's going to be kids there. Because we need to protect the kids, right? I mean, is that a logical thought? Because I think it is. Yeah, Tony. Tony says, in my opinion, local LE never treated the house as a crime scene. Stories is going to come out at trial and to prove LE messed badly. Well, and that was kind of in my, tinfoil hat, kind of thought process in a way, because then, way back when I was kind of thinking, is there something that they're afraid that they're going to get in trouble for not doing? And I have thought of that, Tony. So yeah, I can see that. I can. Bubbly Beth says, wow, I'm going to watch the BHB after this. Someone needs to report that, and that Katie took and allowed Sebastian around her. I mean, I agree, Bubbly Beth. There's no reason to do that and put a kiddo in harm's way. Like, even if you have to hurt someone's feelings, or be like, look, Mom, we can't allow you to be here, because the kids are going to be here. Thank you, Cassie. Thank you. Wow, that is just really something. I just can't even believe. I can't believe it. I mean, I can because we know. Adam Forever 21 says, agree, Tony Fire. Very sad Sebastian may be here already and people cuffed. I mean, exactly. Exactly. Mm. That's true, Bubbly Beth. There's always evidence. They search his room, but what about the kitchen, bathroom, living room, walls, and furniture? They did the heat machine to make sure he wasn't in the walls, but didn't do luminol. Yeah, and I'm still pretty much thinking they didn't do the luminol, but we don't know for sure. But I do remember Chris and Katie saying they use the heat technology. Yes. Yeah, definitely. That's why the false narrative statement analysis isn't completely working for me. Right, Sasha. I completely understand. Yeah, I completely understand. Oh, good. Remember that it's still active. I think so. I'm gonna go look. I'm gonna go look on change.org, Mammon, because if it is, I'll just go repost it because it can't hurt to sign it, right? Because there's a lot of people that probably haven't signed it. Um, yeah, Seth is fighting hard the right way. That is right, Cassie. I agree. I agree 100%. Mammon says it should have been luminol for sure, Jen. It should have been. It's the most ridiculous no clearing in person case I've seen. I wonder why. Yeah, it's so sad. It's so sad, Sasha. And it's frustrating. I share your frustration. I didn't know there was a petition of FBI to intervene. I would sign it too. Thanks, Scranton. Yeah, I will. I will put it on there if it's still active. I'm pretty sure it is. I don't think those usually like expire or anything. I could be wrong. I've never started a change.org petition. But yeah, definitely, guys. I will put it in, I will link it in the video description. The officers showing up at the vigils showed me they care. Yes, I know. I loved seeing that, Cassie. That was amazing. That's what we expect to see, right? Is just, especially just in case, I mean, it's really nice for them to show on their own, but it's also nice to have them there for safety, security, and just to show Seth that, they stand with him. It's important in my opinion. And Scranton says, nope, they knew they looked too fake, so they didn't show their face, in my opinion. I think so too. Limelit Girl says exactly, Stanley. I mean, Lady Freedom. Oh, marvelous comment, Limelit Girl. Marvelous. And Sasha says, so why would they do the interview at all? That's creepy. Because I knew, I think if they knew that if they didn't do it, they were going to get a lot of flack. Thank you, Maleficent. Aw, that's so sweet. Just think how many people are going to see Sebastian's face on America's Most Wanted. Cassie Roku, that's what I'm talking about. So important, so very important. And so many people that don't watch YouTube, because I know all of us, and I'm like that too. Like I have to remind myself, I'm like, oh, there's something other than YouTube. There's regular TV. But a lot of people don't watch YouTube. They're watching America's Most Wanted, they're watching Dateline, they're watching 2020, they're watching, is Dr. Phil still on? They're watching Dr. Phil. Mammon says, always felt to me like people were helping them in their interviews. Yeah, and it felt scripted to me. Just trying to get through it. Woke him up at 6, he wasn't there, ran around the house, looked for him, you know, a little bit more added here and there, but yeah, just kind of the same story, um, and then adding details. Yes, such a blessing. Not searching because, oh, whoopsie. Not searching because they don't want to throw their helpers under the train. Well, and that was another thing, that has just been really prevalent in the case. When I was reading back on the RICO and things like that, I'm like, you know, there's been a lot of threats and stuff that was happening and a lot of drama and stuff that was happening, that had no business being in the case. Very smart indeed, but she's dumb in love matters. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that too, Tony. I do. Hey, Anna Marie. Sorry, guys. I'm like way back in this chat. Hey, Megan Els. Thank you. Yes, Seth Rogers. Thank you, Maman. Yes. Thanks, guys. Rocco says, in 1 year missing interview, Katie acted very different than all the first few, almost like someone told her act um, convincingly this time, of course, in my opinion. Yeah, I think so too. Could you please show a little bit more umph there, Katie? We're gonna need some more umph, you know. Um, mm. I hope, Megan L says, I hope Seth continues to scream from the rooftops for Sebastian and Faith. Yes. Amen, Megan L. That's what I'm talking about. We need to. We got to protect the kids. We got to find Sebastian. It's so important. Hey, Town Chat Cafe. Didn't KP say that SR spoke with FSR, her mom? Yeah, Francis, on the phone on Sunday or just before he went missing. I did hear something about that he was speaking with Francis. I don't know if it was on a regular basis or if it was, and then also I'm not sure about it being like right before or the day of. But she said that he called family members to brag about the spaghetti pancakes. Although she didn't specify like which family members. And Scranton Strangler says, all I have to say is that if KP and CP are not responsible, they are the guiltiest innocent people I've ever seen, in my opinion. Yeah. I agree with that 100% because I still, even when I try to go back and be like, okay, say they didn't have anything to do with it, it's still strange and it puts me right back at the start again, I agree, Scranton. That's really well said. Yes, he's Bubbly Beth says, I hear family attorney. Hey, sweet Sativa, good to see you. Hey, Gigi, you're not late. No worries. Thank you for being here. I think them going on America's Most Wanted will be great for Sebastian. So many people to watch that. Exactly. Spirit Junkie says, audio static again like earlier in the video. Check cord connection. Thank you. Is it still going, guys? I'm going to have to scoot down. Hey, Kaika. Okay, oh good, I'm back to the... Are you guys still hearing it? Yeah, to brag, Alias. To brag. It's like, well, I mean, if he learned bragging, I'm pretty sure he learned it from Mr. Foot. And it's like, and let him, if he's bragging on his mama, she kind of seemed a little bit annoyed or whatever by that, and I was like, but he's bragging on you, Mom. Like, he's happy that you made him breakfast, and okay, good. I'm trying to make sure. Oh goodness. And of course I'm probably gonna have to hop off here sooner or later, but you guys just have such good comments. I like reading through. I don't believe that. In my opinion, she made the call to set up the connection to hand him over to her family in Virginia. Well, the thing is that their property had been checked because apparently they live on a big property where they're, in separate houses and stuff like that. And, Tony said that they checked and, Yada's like, he's not with our family. But you just never know, Town Chat Cafe. You just never know. It's very difficult because, I don't like to rule out anything. It was weird. Sasha, that hands video. Oh, Lord. Kaika says, how far does KP's mom live? Where Dolly lives in the same street as her, he said. I think they're very close. But she does live in Virginia. She does. Um, but I don't know that they're that close. I could be wrong though. Um, oh, good. Oh, thanks, Tony. Yeah, and it's just like I need to always remember to undo, like you said, the cord connection. And if I have the earbud like um around the mic, it'll just cause feedback. So I always have to be careful with that too. And I was like, that's weird. It wasn't, you know. I hope not either, Sasha. They said they checked it out, you know. Oh, 5 doors down, Lori? Holy cow. I didn't know it was that close. Yikes. What a small world. That's weird. Thanks, Irony. Thanks, Irony Rose. Weird, you guys. I thought he lived like in the same area, but not that close. Oh, man. Oh, I can show you what her mom looks like. And you know, don't harass the lady or anything, guys, you know, but that's Katie's mom right there. And she's a tier 3 RO. So, wow, that is just wild. You guys just blew my mind. For some reason, I was thinking it wasn't that close. Wow. Yeah, Hey Dolly said yes, that she lives just down the street for him. Whoa. I would not want to live that close. Kaika says, need to see if KP's mom looks like any Adonna's clues. And see, I did not watch the Donna, just because, like, I don't know. I'm skeptical, but also I just didn't want to hear. I don't know. I heard it was a little bit gruesome, and I just don't want to hear that. Aw, Irony fell asleep. Hey, girl, we all need good sleep. I got to sleep a little bit earlier last night, and I felt better. I was like, oh, good. I needed a little bit more sleep because my brain was all mushy. I was like, I'm on information overload. Good to see you, Gigi. What are the odds? Is the same weird ring. Strange stuff, guys. Megan L says they have train colors in their backyard. Oh. I don't know, Meg. I don't know. The KP's mom lives at the end of the street. My word. Tony says, did you see about Stacy Wandra being rearrested? Yes. And I was very happy about that. That guy, oh my gosh, they need to take that guy and lock him away for life, forever, you know, and make him talk. And poor monkey. And I'm just praying for Brandy, you know, and everybody please say prayers for Brandy. You know, for her health, for her to find her son, everything. And Scranton says, you're looking at KP in about 15 years. She looks exactly like her. She does. They very much resemble each other. Oh, very, very, very much, in my opinion, too. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Town Chat Cafe says, it's truly amazing how much she does resemble Green Hoodie. I agree. There's a couple of people that I thought resembled Green Hoodie too, especially like, well, I mean, when I thought it was a guy, there were some people that I was curious about. And then when we found out that it was a woman, then I was like, okay, there's people that I'm curious about then too. And definitely resembled like Francis, you know, I do think that too. Trunchbull. For real. Sasha, that looks like Green Hoodie's head. Sasha, that's funny the way that you said that. Scranton says, Lady Freedom's raw narrative, yes, Donna visions were disturbing. I know, and I don't want to, no. And everyone's like, just watch it, Lady Freedom. And I'm like, no, I'm not watching it. I'm like, I can't watch it. Maybe one day I will, but I don't know. Well, and you guys know I kind of have a little bit of a rule here is just please don't go into detail. If we can stop it as I think foul play occurred and then, he might be here. But I hate going into detail because it's so disturbing. It is. And I don't know. I'm a very visual person. So like when people are explaining things to me, like I can see it in my mind's eye. And I don't know if you guys are very much like that too. But then it like disturbs me further. You know what I mean? Because it's like a little movie I put together in my brain as I'm being told it or something. It's weird. But I'm very, very visual. And so, yeah. And Lori says, did you guys see the title of the video that came out after Seth's live about him making money off Sebastian? What? No, Lori. I try not to go over those shit asses channels. They're real buttholes and I cannot stand them. I cannot. It is so infuriating. So infuriating. And Kaika says that's KP's twin and the sister triplet clone of mom, all red lunar moon faces. Yeah, that's true, Kaika. Yeah, I can see that. They very much resemble. Sasha says, thank God he's a demon. So is Sarah. Oh yeah. I know. Thank God he's been rearrested. That Stacy asshole. Gigi says, Seth said that he didn't recognize Green Hoodie, so could not be Katie's mom. He would recognize her. I agree. I think he'd be able to pick Frances out for sure. I think, yeah, absolutely, Gigi. Absolutely. And I mean, they showed the body cam I think that they would be able to like recognize her voice and things like that. Hey, Butter Biscuit. Good to see you, honey. Town Chat Cafe says they have like 2 or 3 train car boxes in the backyard. Oh, thank you. I didn't know what Meg was talking about. Sorry, Meg. Okay, her son or someone lives in the house on the left, next door, side by side. Oh, okay. So they live in those shipping container-like things? But she got popcorn spot on. Scranton. Good point. I never believed that someone can have that talent to see these things, but Reverend Donna changed my mind. And yes, Tylee and Charles, they told her everything. Some people can just do it. Wow, really, Tony? Okay. I mean, a lot of people have told me, watch it, and I'm like, oh. But yeah, I value you guys' opinion. Reverend Donna never go to the quarrelsome detail. Okay. She didn't. Okay, well that's good. I was thinking it was Tony Gruesome, and I'm thinking, oh, I don't want to listen that. You felt it too, Lori. Oh gosh. Yeah, see, Lori, I don't know. I don't see how people can do stuff like that and feel good about themselves. I really don't. It's absolutely gross. Megan L says, I save myself a lot of aggravation not going to those channels. My peace is important. Exactly. Do not disturb my peace. Exactly. Yeah, because it's like, because that's the stuff that, like, if I was to get a cup of coffee in the morning and sit there with that, like, I would be mad the whole day. Like, if I was to, watch that after the live, I'd be, like, mad all night. And plus, none of the crap that they're saying is true. And it's like, don't even give them the views, because that way maybe they'll decide to do something better so they can get, more views. Oh gosh, but they just operate on the hate. They drink that haterade. And Gigi says, I don't have the ability to channel with people here and beyond, but I don't, uh, oh, excuse me, I have the ability to channel with people here and beyond, but I don't do it publicly or talk about it unless I'm with others who have the ability. Oh, that's interesting, Gigi. And I do think people are very intuitive, and I think there are many things that we can do. There's many people out there that have helped solve crimes. And use their abilities to do that. So that's really cool. That is really cool. And I don't ever knock anybody for that. I feel like there's been things, um, feelings that I've had that have come true, and I'm like, wow, that was weird. I don't like that. So I think people are very intuitive. I did have a conversation with somebody today. We were talking about that. So yeah, interesting. And Amethyst Pisces, good to see you. Seth has every right to make money from his son. Yes, it is his son. People are weird and argue about stupid points. Absolutely. Yeah, if anybody, and the thing is that I truly believe that every single penny that Seth takes in is going directly to help Sebastian. And, you know, that's where I'm coming from. So, I mean, if I thought that there was, I thought if I thought that anyone, and it's anybody was taking advantage of Sebastian, I would be the first one to say, hey, wait a minute, we can't let this happen. You know, yeah, no, nope, they got the wrong guy. And they're doubling down because they don't want to admit when they're wrong, and that's the worst kind of person, that doesn't want to ever admit that they're wrong. Um, yeah, since CP called into Dolly's show the attack to attack Seth, I told him today he's a damn fool and he's a grifter. He makes me so angry. Well, and it makes me mad too that he didn't call into Dolly when Dolly was talking about his stepson. He calls in at Turtle Island. It's like, what the hell? Um, yeah, they are behind the ranch style houses. Okay, town and chat. And I do need to go watch Betty. Oh, really, Gigi? Is that because you don't want to see things? I agree, Amethyst. Gigi says, I agree, Amethyst. Butter Biscuit says, I commented on that video. It made me mad. I commented in Seth's defense. Thank you, Butter Biscuit. Yeah, guys. And the bad thing is they're just gonna like take it off. You know what I mean? And then we wasted our energy. Um, so yeah, I just hate that. When I knew that was coming, I mean, it just makes you want to like line them up like the Three Stooges and just smack. Yeah, exactly, Scranton. Yeah, true, and very ones that complain about it are the ones doing the same thing. It's insanity. Well, and here's the thing: if you're putting in the time and effort and you're working and stuff like that, then your time is valuable. Everybody has to make a living, right? But in the same way, to sit there and make a living off of being hateful is just, I don't see how you can be like, oh, I felt good about my day. Like when I take my earbud off and I put my mic back and I turn off my sound stuff, I sit here and think to myself, I hope I did a good job. I hope people enjoyed my show. I hope it made people feel good. I hope new people came in that didn't know about Sebastian. I think about those things. I wonder what these people think afterwards. Well, I just disparaged the father of a missing kid. Now I can go to bed. Like, what the hell? They should be ashamed. Like, and I don't like to shame people, but it's just ridiculous. I mean, get a life. Get some new topics. Work on something better. Research something. Do something for good. Why do they have to do for bad? Um, Sometimes it makes me wonder if they even know the difference. And Gigi says, no, it's because there are too many non-believers, and the dog, they dog you if asked. I will do privately. Well, and I don't know. I've just seen Seth put a lot of efforts towards finding Sebastian, advocating for him, the whole 9 yards, everything that you would expect. And in my opinion, I think that Seth should do like a live a week. I think it'd be a good idea. I think that, and I know he probably doesn't have the time to do that, but I know he does it when he can, but you know, he's the only one doing it. You know, it's like, stop being jealous and be proactive yourself, and you might see different results. But Katie and Chris just sit back there, oh, everybody's bashing us, oh, we can't talk. Bull crap. If they started a YouTube channel, people would go over and watch. People would go over and listen. About Sebastian, oh yes, we would. But they're not doing that. They're sitting behind the scenes on their rumps, not doing anything, in my opinion. Oh man, guys. That's why I can't even with those ones. Lori says, but how did they sit there and say the father's making money off of a woman? Isn't that, and that's what they're doing at the expense of the father. Right. No, and the problem is that who are we to say how other people spend their money? These are people that are giving Seth money out of the kindness of their heart to help him find his son. These are people who are supporting Seth with their hard-earned money, and that's up to them. That is their choice. I'm so sick of that crap. It's just a reason to put out hate. They're not doing anything good. It doesn't matter what Seth does. They're going to be on the opposite side because they're part of Chris and Katie's narrative that they're pushing out. Chris is in the background, jealous, Oh, that's a good thing, Tony. That is so good. Yeah, I couldn't with Dolly anymore after the picture. I got mad. I was like, I can't. But, I don't wish anybody bad. Amethyst Pisces says, Scranton, you are absolutely correct. Anyone who is monetized on YouTube or making money off of it, I'd rather see his parents make the money than others. Exactly. Well, and and the thing is that I think there's a big misconception too. I think that people think that like every single person who does YouTube is a millionaire. It's not true. It's very difficult to monetize. It takes a long time. You have to have a certain amount of views. You have to have a certain amount of this and that. Yes, people can buy up memberships and things like that, which is fantastic. But you also have to consider the cost of StreamYard is extremely expensive. All of the different apps, like I pay for music, I pay for a lot of different things. And so much of the money that I've even made on YouTube has been put back into YouTube, and back into the StreamYard, back into the editing software that I use, the music, the video downloader I use. There's a lot of different pieces of software that are not free to use. Like you can use the free version, but you're gonna get a better product if you use, the paid one. And so there's a lot that goes with it. And it's not, guys, ad revenue, not a way to make money, right? Now, if Seth was like sponsoring Native body wash, like I might question but he's not doing that. He's totally using that platform for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to find his son, to spread awareness, to answer our questions. He was gracious enough to take time out of his agenda, whatever he had planned for tonight, to graciously answer. Did Sebastian have a purple Simpsons hoodie? And when I saw purple, I was like, I bet not. And and Seth said, nope. It was funny. But he graciously answered that, nope, sorry. He talked about the sighting in Missouri, he talked about how there was another sighting in Kentucky. He took that time to humor us all. Really, I mean, he didn't have to do that. I don't see Katie and Chris doing that. I don't see Katie and Chris coming into a chat and saying, thank you very much for spreading the word about our son. You won't ever catch them doing that. And if they come in here, be respectful to them, guys. I'm just saying, we're not going to see it. It'll be a cold day in hell. Mark my words. And I feel very strong saying that, and I will apologize later. You won't see him coming in here. You don't see him going into Justin's thank you. You don't see him going over to BHB. Thank you for spreading awareness about our son. You don't see them going anywhere. I didn't even see him thank Duchess for the longest time. It took them forever to thank her. Months to publicly thank her. But Chris always wanted that public apology. He was okay for complaining about that, It's horrible, Butter Biscuit. It's horrible. But one thing I will say is that I really think that Sebastian's case has pushed out some of those people and who they actually are, right? So I think that is a saving grace that we should be grateful for. Really, thank you, little Miss Sharon. But I'm probably going to get off here. But you know what, guys? If we got to 150, let's do a party. Let's do a party. Thanks, Gigi. Butter, same with me. If I don't have any respect for them, I can't watch them. Yeah, Megan Ellis. And it's important for us all to kind of take a stand against it. I'm not going to tell people what to do or who to watch and stuff. But if you see something that you don't like or you don't agree with, let people know. Don't be afraid. And if the creator gets mad at you and is like, wow, blah, 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 then then okay, I'm done. Because some people don't want to hear the even constructive criticism, and that's weird to me. Some people don't even want free thinkers in their chat. It's weird to me, And Scranton says, Lady Freedom's raw narrative. I'm just glad that Seth just ignores all the haters and lets it roll off of his back. Yeah, exactly the reaction that he should give. Yes, because the more fuel you add to it, the more, it's fuel to the fire. I agree with that. And, he said it before, it's not worth Sebastian's time. And that's what they're eating up, is Sebastian's time. That's exactly what they're doing. And how dare they? It just really ticks me off. Is it your birthday, Lori? Happy birthday if it's your birthday. Tony. Tony says, someone asked Seth where I can buy a bracelet, and he said immediately, we don't sell them. Email, and then they will send it to you using his money to send it. Yeah, free to you, grifting, right? Thank you, Tony Fire. Like, if I knew how to pin, I would pin that. Because it's for real. I mean, come on, we have to think of it. Like, think of it. And that's the thing. When going back, when Seth was trying to send people flyers to pass out, because he had bought a bunch of them, he was trying to get flyers sent out and bracelets. People were like, don't give him your address. He's just looking for people's addresses. Just how evil. It's like they'll take something nice and turn it into something horrible. And again, like, that's a huge red flag. When you see people doing that, run away, please, guys, before they do it to you. If they're going to do it to someone else, they're going to do it to you. Please don't put up with that shit, Because I remember that, and it really upset me, too, that they were doing that to him. Don't you give him your address? What's wrong with this guy? And they're playing his live where he's like, hey, I have all these flyers. I'm ready to get them out to people. Just, let me know and I'll send them out, They turned it into something bad. All right, let's do the party. Let's find it first. Okay, there we go. All right, guys. Thank you for all the likes. Thank you. Thank you.
Weezer, there's someone I'd like you to meet. That looks like an autopsy.
Laughter through tears is my favorite emotion. I'm so mad I don't know what to do. I want to know why. Lord, I wish I could understand. I just want to hit something. I want to hit it hard.
Here! Hit this! Go ahead, Malin! Slap her!
Are you crazy?
Hit her!
Are you high, Clary?
We'll sell t-shirts saying I slapped Weezer Boudreaux! Hit her! Weezer, this is your chance to do something for your fellow man! Knock her lights out, Malin!
Let go of me!
But y'all don't say that.
Malin, you just missed a chance of a lifetime. Have a chickapin parish and give the eye teeth to take a whack of Weezer.
You are a pig from hell.
Weezer! Weezer, I was just kidding. Come back! Oh.
Lisa, what brings you here? Shut up.
Not a very Christian thing to do. And now you gotta lighten up.
If you can't say anything nice about anybody, come sit by me.
Looks like two pigs fighting under a blanket.
A girl is fair game until there's a ring on it. And I mean a wedding ring. An engagement ring just means she's ready for one more mistake. Okay, this is perfect. Watch this.
Sometimes I wish I was smooth like Zahid. Of all the people I know, he's the best at girls.
Thanks, Weezer. Nothing like a good piece of ass.
And that's how you do it. Now, I'm gonna go hide in the back because that guy said he's gonna kick my ass and he has a neck tattoo, so...
I am pleasant. Damn it! I just saw Drum eating in this morning at the Piggly Wiggly, and I smiled at the son of a bitch, for I could help myself.
Honey, time marches on, and eventually you realize it's marching across your face.
Scranton, that's so funny. I just think that's so cute. That show is called Atypical, guys, and you can find it on Netflix. And it's about a kid who is on the spectrum and he's navigating life, right, as a teenager. And it's super cute. And his friend Sahid that he works with at the electronics store is like so hilarious, and a lot of the things he says is a lot like, right, reminds me of Chris, like, I got this, when he does it. It's really, really funny. If you guys ever catch it, it's a show that makes you feel good, and it's just really cute and funny. Ooh, chicken and dumplings, that sounds good, Tony Fire. That sounds really good. I love chicken and dumplings. Just starting my day around 2. Tony, I'm a third shifter. Gigi, I've been there. That's why I'm so active at night myself. It's because I've always kind of like, once you work the overnight shift, you kind of become, a vampire of sorts. Like that's, once you're bit by the graveyard shift, it kind of continues on. Yeah, yay, Scranton. I'm so glad. And happy birthday, Lori. I'm so glad that you spent your birthday here, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you do something really fun and do something, some good, like, self-care, whatever it is, whatever you like to do, or spend time with family and friends. And we just love you. No chicken. I forgot about chicken. Lori, you don't want any bok chicken? I'm just kidding. That's so funny. It's so funny because I used to be the kid that wouldn't eat anything but chicken and, you know, and eggs. Like I was fine with that, but anything else, I'm like, I don't like meat. I was really weird. But now I'm like a total steak eater. So, well, guys, thank you all so much for being here. I'm going to hop off of here, but I will be back for Monday Night Raw. And then we're going to watch, you know, some of the clips from Seth's live tonight. We'll go over that. Really great information in there, great resources. I'm going to put everything on my community tab, and I will share Seth's posts out there too. But definitely go to his channel as well, because I want you to go over and support him and show him some love. And Tony, that's funny. Naps are good. Power naps are good. Sometimes, you know, all you need is a good like 90 minutes. And, you know, because by the time you fall asleep and then you got like an hour. Sweet dreams, Lori. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. And don't work too hard, Gigi. Yes, Atypical Meg knows it. I love that. It's just such a funny show. Sahid is like so hilarious. He's so funny. Thank you, Bubbly Beth. Thank you so much for being here. Good night. Good night. Yeah, Netflix. And Vanna says, yeah, I tapped into Queen Bee and I couldn't bring myself to look at Dolly. The Queen show was freaking, oh God, rabid. Those people are demon infected. I couldn't stay even 5 minutes. Don't look directly into the YouTube when they are on. No, I'm just kidding, Vanna. You don't want to be sucked in like the poltergeist. Goodness. That little man in the hat, like he's always the scariest one. Carol Ann. Oh Lord, help us all. I can fall out in 2 minutes for sleep for 12 and wake up refreshed. Scranton, that's funny. That's funny. Sometimes if I drink too much coffee and then I lie down, like I'm fully alert. Like by the time if I wake up like 3 hours later, I'm like, oh, what happened? So I know. Happy birthday, Lori. We love you. I'm gonna put together a birthday song, guys. I need to do that too. I need to write that down and make it happen. I keep saying it. It's terrible. I made one, but I tried to sing and it was really bad. I was like, forget it, you know. Town Chat Cafe says, if you talk to Seth, ask him to look for emails from me. Okay, yeah, you know, he was in here earlier. I will also link in some of the emails too. Like there is one to volunteer. There's several that were given out tonight in Seth's live, but I'll try to put those together too, you know, and yeah, that way we can have like, you know, you can send things over and that sort of thing. Because yeah, we really need to support Seth. He's doing such a great job, you know, and we all love him so much. We just need to let him know. And we love Sebastian. Pray for him every single day. Pray for our little Summer too. Yeah, I drop kicked them, the haters. Bubbly Beth drop kicked them. Lori says, oh, sorry, I forgot to say no. My birthday is 2/26. Oh, same day as the stuff happened. Oh my goodness. Okay, Lori. Well, hey, I didn't wish you a happy birthday back then, so I'm wishing you a happy birthday now. But still, I need to do like a little birthday thing so I could play it for you guys. You know, if somebody has a birthday, or I could just play it and say happy birthday to all these people, you know. Thank you all so much. I love you. Take care of yourselves. Pray and don't look directly into the YouTube if you're going to, you know, watch the hate channels. No, I'm just kidding. All right, guys, take care. Thank you. Sebastian Strong.